Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? All good? ठीक है. So बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स कहाँ तक आए? In economics is also complete. Okay. So और कौन सा शुरू है? Science and tech. ठीक है, ठीक है. So environment, so I will be taking one more class. ठीक है. So बहुत factual information type है. So हाँ नहीं ये काफ़ी है. तो बिकॉज अपडेशन में भी है और 4 महीने का बचेगा शायद. सो जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल है ना. तो सो अगर कुछ बच गया तो तब कवर कर लेते हैं. तो दैट वी हैव टू सी बिकॉज वी शुड इंक्लूड सम पार्ट ऑफ अप्रैल टू. ओके. सो maybe we may get in one part or 2 parts, so depending on that. Yes. ठीक है. So yeah, we'll discuss that. So anything else other than that? और कुछ है? ठीक है. So we'll talk about that. ठीक है. The question is what are private forests? So let me just give you a brief idea about the forests. So forests in India are classified into 2 types. ठीक है. So one is public forest, another one is private forest. So this is based on what? This is based on the Indian Forest Act 1927. So 1927 Act के हिसाब से है. So this classification, there are 2 types of forests in India. One is public forest, second one is private forest. Okay, so the difference between them is the ownership. So public forest is in the land ownership is in the government. Okay, government ownership का है. Private forest is the ownership is the private or the community, so which is not belonging to the government. The public forests are classified into 3 types. One is reserved forest, second one is protected forest, so third one is village forest. ठीक है. So reserved forest, protected forest and village forest. So finally we have 4 types of forests in India then: reserved forest, protected forest, village forest and private forest. This definition is not based on the coverage. This is based on the land. Okay, so land ownership के हिसाब से. So coverage के हिसाब से अलग हो जाते हैं. Okay, based on the coverage, the canopy cover will decide the separate definition itself. So whatever the land which is usually the government considered that this area should be designated as forest, that will be included in this public forests, which is maintained by the forest department. Okay, so of the respective states, because the forests are managed by the states. State forest department ही होता है, even though the forests are concurrent subject. पहले forest तो इसमें था, state subject में था, तो बाद में concurrent बना दिया. So the overall the way it is managed is through the state departments, and the forest officers are appointed by the central government through Indian Forest Service. Okay, so जो group A में होता है, बाकी group B, group C, group D होता है, so state government appoint करते हैं, jointly handled by both the center and state. So this entire public forest comes under the forest department of the respective states. They will manage this, and the central will completely have a look, oversee, तो वो पूरा करते हैं, वो सब तो चलेगा. Private forests are those forest areas which are under the private ownership and there is a sufficient green coverage. Okay, sufficient green coverage होना चाहिए. So otherwise it is not very clearly defined. Okay, not very clearly defined. It just says that okay, these are the private forest which is not belonging to the government land. So अभी इन तीनों में क्या difference है? Yes, the restrictions. Reserve forest is where the rights of the landholder is totally extinguished. Rights of the landholders are totally extinguished because every land they used to, by generations, it used to belong to someone. Okay, some of the villagers, some of the zamindars. Okay, कुछ किसी का तो था. So over a period of time before independence, they have been inherited. After the independence, the government started to declare many areas as reserve forest. Once the government declare it as a reserve forest, the rights are totally extinguished and the rights will be settled off. उनको compensation मिल जाएगा, दूसरी जगह में मिल जाएगा, जो भी होगा that will be settled. And once an area is declared as a reserve forest, after the declaration nobody can claim the rights over there. Settle कर देंगे. Protected forest is a type of forest where the rights are extinguished temporarily. Okay, temporarily settle करते हैं, some temporarily extinguish करते हैं, बोलते हैं कि for a short period of time the government will overtake this, will look after this. So usually for a period of 30 years, and after that the government will decide what to do. In that case some of the rights are allowed. कुछ ancestral property है, कुछ religious place है, तो वहाँ पर limited way में allow कर देते हैं. So that is what is protected forest. Government prefers to have more of reserve forest than protected forest क्योंकि इसको manage करना easy है. So village forest क्या होता है? These are the reserve forest or protected forest which are given to the villages, surrounding villages. उनको बोल दिया कि आप handle कर दो, इसमें जो भी resource आएगा तो आप extract कर सकते हो, आपको ही manage करना पड़ेगा. So these are also very less, but there are certain parts where it has been given to the village community. Okay, so village को दे दिया है कि आप manage कर सकते हैं. That is what is village forest. This classification is based on Indian Forest Act. ठीक है? So but what about the density and the canopy cover? So that is defined as per the state of the forest report. State of the forest report के अंदर define करते हैं density cover forest. So there we have 4 types of forests: very dense, moderately dense, and then open forest, and then scrub land. Okay, so that is based on the canopy cover. That means how much of area of the land is covered with the canopy. Green canopy कितना cover है. So above 70% very dense forest, 70 to 40 is moderately dense forest, 70 to 10% is open forest, and below that it is scrub land. So 10% से नीचे है तो it is not considered as a forest cover. 70 to 40. Above 70 very dense, 70 to 40 is moderately dense, 40 to 10 is open, less than 10 is scrub land. Okay, forest cover जो हम report में देखते हैं, state of the forest report में देखते हैं ना, that is based on the canopy density of minimum 10%. ठीक है? No, see, no, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Private forests are those forests which are maintained by the private persons, managed by the private persons, but there are certain restrictions over there. Protected area. Protected area is different. I'll tell you about that. Forest का definition अलग है. ठीक है, फॉरेस्ट का डेफिनेशन क्लियर है. विलेज फॉरेस्ट इज वेयर द राइट्स आर गिवन टू द विलेज एंड द प्राइवेट फॉरेस्ट आर मैनेज्ड बाय द प्राइवेट पर्सन्स बट विद सम रिस्ट्रिक्शंस. व्हाट आर द रिस्ट्रिक्शंस? दे कैन नॉट चेंज द एंटायर नेचर ऑफ इट. पूरा उसको नेचर चेंज नहीं कर सकते. इवन दो इट बिलोंग्स टू मी, आई कैन नॉट कंप्लीटली कट इट ऑफ. तो फॉरेस्ट को एग्रीकल्चर लैंड पूरा के पूरा नहीं कवर कर सकते, कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकता. देयर आर सर्टेन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस बट आई विल बी मैनेजिंग दिस. दैट इज व्हाट इज प्राइवेट फॉरेस्ट. दिस इज द फॉरेस्ट डेफिनेशन. सो प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया अलग है. What is a protected area? an area where for the purpose of wildlife conservation के लिए there are certain rules and regulations. That is what is protected area, where the human interference is either totally removed, totally prohibited or regulated. That is what is protected area. There are 4 types of protected areas: national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, community reserve and conservation reserves. Okay, these are protected areas. These are declared not on a private land. Private land में नहीं declare करता है. अगर कोई private land में आ गया, first it has to be converted into reserve forest or protected forest. Okay, so they are usually declared in reserve forest and protected forest only. Private में नहीं कर सकते. पहले रिजर्व और प्रोटेक्टेड फॉरेस्ट में डिक्लेयर करेंगे, कॉम्पनसेशन दे देंगे, फिर हम जो करना है कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. सो पहली लेयर में फॉरेस्ट है, दूसरी लेयर में हमारा प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज है. सो तीसरी लेयर में आते द ट्राइबल पीपल, वेदर दे हैव द राइट टू रिसाइड इनसाइड द फॉरेस्ट. जो शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज हो गया. ओके, सो बहुत जगह में जो ट्राइबल पीपल दे हैव बीन लिविंग इनसाइड द फॉरेस्ट, डू दे हैव द राइट टू लिव इनसाइड द फॉरेस्ट? इफ एनी एरिया हैज बीन डिक्लेयर्ड एज अ नेशनल पार्क, so will they be totally evicted? Because that is how the national park is defined. National park क्या होता है? Where the human interference is totally removed. मतलब human interference कोई भी नहीं हो सकता. You cannot have any type of human activity. That is what is national park. Agriculture is not allowed. Grazing is not allowed. Any kind of timber removal. So ये सब चीजें allowed नहीं है. This is applicable only for outsiders, not for the people who live inside the forest. That is forest dwellers. Okay, they are called as the traditional forest dwellers. उसके लिए हमने अलग सा एक्ट लेके आए. कौन सा एक्ट है? The Forest Rights Act, which has given the right to live inside the forest. They have the right to live inside the forest, whether it is a national park or a wildlife sanctuary, okay, or a reserve forest, protected forest. कोई भी जगह में वो लोग रह सकते हैं. That has been recognized, except one area: critical wildlife habitat. Critical tiger habitat is a type of critical wildlife habitat only. Okay, so critical wildlife habitat, wherever critical wildlife habitat has been declared by the government, there the tribals cannot live. वहाँ पर नहीं रह सकते वो लोग. Okay, of course they will be given alternative land, compensation, ये सब तो मिल जाएगा. Their rights are settled. Rights are settled means they are given the compensation, but the rights are recognized. ठीक है. Yes, that was the first time. That's why it is a historical act. None of these acts recognized. No. None of the Indian legislation before independence, after independence, none of them recognized the rights of the forest dwellers. They could have been easily evicted. Yes, for everyone. Right? For the first time, they were given the recognition through Forest Rights Act. That is why it is called as a landmark act. No, it is the 5th and 6th schedule. It doesn't mean that they are totally under the central control. So the overall oversee comes under them. So, but they are managed by the respective governors, right? So, and anyway, forests and wildlife, they are all concurrent. Okay, so there is not exclusive. Concurrent में आ जाता है. So, with regard to 5th and 6th schedule, there is no conflict between 5th and 6th schedule and the protected areas or the forest. There is no conflict over there. ठीक है. So anything else? हाँ, जो लास्ट क्लास में मैंने बताया था ना. So it's because schedule 1, 2, 3 is something exclusive of each other. Schedule 1, 2, 3 is something exclusive of each other, not schedule 4. Schedule 4 का पर्पस ही अलग है. Okay, schedule 4 का पर्पस क्या है? The animals which are listed in sites will also be listed here, so that Indian law के थ्रू उसको एक अलग सा प्रोटेक्शन दे सकते हैं हम. Indian law के थ्रू हम sites का प्रोविजन को implement कर सकते हैं. That is the idea of the schedule 4. It is not something exclusive of schedule 1, 2, 3. There will be many of these animals, many of the species common from schedule 1 to 3 will also be put under schedule 4. For example, tiger is there in schedule 1 as well as schedule 4. So that means schedule 1 इसलिए कि उसका protection status है as per the Wildlife Protection Act. Whatever the animals which are there in schedule 1, if somebody kills it, he will be punished, he will be given the highest punishment. That is what is schedule 1. Schedule 4 का purpose है, so if any person is involved in the transportation of the tiger or tiger parts for international trade, so he will be punished because India is a signatory to the sites and we have to implement that in India also. So uska matlab provision, the purpose is different. That is what is schedule 1 and schedule 4. Okay. Yes. So any such news. So the question is whether in that Kuno National Park the number of cheetahs should be limited, right? So one thing, the cheetahs also, they don't live in large groups. Cheetahs don't live in large groups. They don't hunt in large groups. It's a very rare thing. Okay, so usually cheetahs hunt individually and they live, unless during the mating season, they don't live in large groups. Okay, they require a very large area. Okay, and male cheetahs, they are not at all, usually they don't live in large groups. It is the female cheetahs which will take care of the cubs until they reach the age. Okay, so that's why they also hunt alone. For that we require a very large area. Okay, the grassland should be larger, the prey base should be larger. The overall, the capacity of the area to sustain the number of cheetahs, that should also be considered, right? So that is that may be the report. No. So if the animal is killed, he will be punished as per the schedule 1. If the animal is killed and transported, the punishment is for both killing as well as transportation, and that too international transport for trade purpose. Anything else? चीता तो है ना शेड्यूल 1 में है. ठीक है. So anything else? चलो, let's continue. जो ज़्यादा फैक्चुअल इन्फॉर्मेशन टाइप टॉपिक्स है ना, तो उसको मैं जिस्ट बताते जाऊंगा, आप लिखते जाओ. तो जहाँ पर हम डिस्कशन चाहिए, थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड चाहिए, देयर वी विल गो इन डिटेल. ठीक है. So I think the last topic was this one, heavy metal contamination, right? The next one, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Okay, the short form is PFAS. Perfluoro and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So why in news? So a recent report is not important. Recent report is saying that we find this PFAS in huge quantity in rainwater in India. Okay, बहुत जगह में रेन वाटर एनालिसिस किया है, वहाँ पर मिला था. Not only India, across the world. So it is found that in rainwater they found this PFAS in large number. So that is why it is in news. So we should know what is PFAS and their side effects, the harmful effects. First of all, what is PFAS? So per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So basically it's a type of chemical which is used for various utensils and the safety gear where they use for painting, है ना, जहाँ पर surface के ऊपर जो चिपकना नहीं है basically. So for example this non-stick tawa. Okay, non-stick tawa में whatever we put on this, it will not stick to it very easily. So there is a very thin coating used, and there they use this PFAS. It's a chemical which is used in such applications. For example, you can see that non-stick tawa, firefighting foams, and water and oil proof apparel. Okay, so and stain resistant upholstery carpet, and household agents, food packaging, जिसके ऊपर oil वगैरह चिपकना है, मसाला वगैरह चिपकना नहीं है ना? So such kind of thing will have this coating, and that is where they are used, which is per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So they are basically partially or completely fluorinated carbon chains, and they are the ones which are called as forever chemicals. Forever chemicals. What are forever chemicals? That is same as our POPs. POP suna hai? Persistent organic pollutants, which is under Stockholm Convention. Okay, these are the compounds which are used in various applications. At the same time, this is also a forever chemical, which is a type of persistent organic pollutant and listed under Stockholm Convention. PFAS is also listed under Stockholm Convention as a POP. Okay. So what is a POP? POP क्या होता है? It is a chemical which doesn't undergo much of easy degradation. Easy degradation नहीं होगा. It persists in the nature and it continuously accumulates in the food chain through bioaccumulation and biomagnification. Through that process it continuously accumulates, and once it reaches the topmost animal, जो top carnivores होगा, है ना, जो food chain के सबसे ऊपर रहता है, so वहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा impact रहता है. So for example vultures, है ना, so vultures का भी, that is also an example of the biomagnification. And DDT का जो impact था, that was clearly visible in the ospreys and जो bald eagles. Okay, जिसका egg shells started to become thin and their number started to decrease because of that, because DDT is usually used in the applications of जहाँ पर agriculture areas में था, तो there it was easily washed away and it reaches the water body, and in the water body it accumulates in the small organisms and then builds up in the fish, then large fish, and the birds which directly eat the fish, there it accumulates in large quantity through biomagnification. So that is how it all started, right? The Silent Spring, Rachel Carson, so that was DDT only, right? So this is also type of such compound, and it is saying that there are various health concerns. So what is the difference between bioaccumulation and biomagnification? Yes. So usually any kind of chemicals first enters a particular level. For example, DDT, if there's huge quantity of DDT in the water, first it is consumed by whom? The microorganisms. Okay, microorganisms, algae, so they will take it first. But at that level, the amount of DDT present in their body is not harmful for them. Right? So, but when these microorganisms, algae and all these small insects, they are consumed by small fish, their body it accumulates more. Okay, for example, मान लो a small fish eats 10 small insects, and in 10 small insects there is a very minute proportion, 1 mg का proportion है, ठीक है? But when these 10 insects are eaten by a single fish, at a time 10 mg is accumulated over there. When such kind of 10 small fishes are eaten by one big fish, so 100 mg एक ही बार में आ गया, है ना, in one meal itself. Yes, no, accumulation is the first stage. The first stage, when it enters the food chain, there it is continuously accumulating, that is what is accumulation. So gradually it increases the proportion, that is what is biomagnification, because it is intensifying, right? Every time when it is consumed in the next higher trophic level, its proportion increases, that is what is biomagnification. Both are same. Bioaccumulation, bioconcentration, used in the different context, but both the process is same. Okay? So what are the concerns regarding PFAS? So it causes various issues. Being a POP, it results in interference in body hormones, increases cholesterol levels, liver damage, kidney damage, cancer, various different types of cancers, infertility, and all the other health related issues are there. So and there are different measures to control the level of PFAS in the water. Okay, so you can see the filtration through activated carbon tanks, incineration is burning, right, or just completely phasing out under the Stockholm Convention. So Stockholm Convention के अंदर phase out करना तो इतना easy नहीं है. So because we have been using various such POPs which are listed under Stockholm Convention, अभी भी इंडिया में यूज हो ही रहे. ठीक है. So overall compound's name is important, and what are its, where is it used, what are the applications, and what are the concerns related to that. And other than that there are few more compounds, बहुत technical type लगता है, so कोशिश करो एक बार ऐसे ही go through करने के लिए. Other water pollutants in use, nonylphenol. Is that right? Nonylphenol, NP, nonylphenol. It is found in drinking water across India. Okay, NP बोलते nonylphenol. It is found in drinking water across India. It is used as surfactant. What is a surfactant? It is a chemical which is used to reduce the surface tension. Okay, कोई भी liquid हो, detergent हो, easily absorb होने के लिए. Okay, so where there is less surface tension, it gets easily absorbed, right? So to reduce the surface tension, surfactants are used. So it is a type of surfactants which is used in day-to-day consumer products. So there it is continuously leaching into the water bodies, and they are continuously accumulating. So that is why it is in news. Nonylphenol. It results in endocrine disruption, that is hormonal issue होता है, birth defects, skin irritation, eye irritation. And recently UNEP has designated nonylphenol as the chemical of global concern. The issue is there is no standards exclusively for NP, drinking water, surface waters के regarding कितना होना चाहिए, कितना minimum, कितना मतलब कितना maximum हो सकता है, इसके regarding कोई भी standards prescribed नहीं है. That is why it is a concern. Endosulfan तो सुना ही है. So endosulfan is used in, even now अभी भी use करे, Supreme Court तो तब का ban कर दिया था. So endosulfan is also listed under POP under Stockholm. So it is majorly used in cotton, cashew, fruits, tea, paddy, tobacco. So and Supreme Court banned this endosulfan in 2011. 2011 में ban कर दिया था. And but still even after the ban it has been used, particularly Kerala में बहुत सारा plantation में इसको use करते थे. So the government was justifying saying that it is cheap and there is not much of easy alternatives, all of it. It is very effective. ये सब बोल के. So recently ऐसे हुआ था, किसी को, somebody was the victim of this endosulfan pesticide and they went to the court and Supreme Court said उनको compensation दे दो 5 लाख का. Okay, that was the news. It is majorly used for controlling pests and mites. ठीक है, that is endosulfan. So other next में जो है बहुत technical है, बस एक बार पढ़ लेता हूँ, so सुन लेना. पढ़ने के लिए मुश्किल है. So ऐसे ही, so chemicals which are used in pesticide में use करते हैं, but usually they are used जितना regulated है उससे बहुत ज़्यादा use करते हैं. So and they are very harmful, so that's why they are in use. Okay, so one chlorpyrifos, second fipronil, then atrazine, then paraquat. Okay, these are all the different types of pesticides. जितना recommended है, recommended से बहुत ज़्यादा use करते हैं, that is why they are very harmful. So that is why they are in news. Atrazine is weedicide. Okay. Yes. So overall agriculture इसमें insecticide, weedicide, pesticide में use कर सकते हैं, मतलब use करते हैं. उसका next two जो topics है, microplastic, nanoplastic. First let's understand the difference. Microplastic क्या होता है? It's in mm में measure करते हैं ना. So less than 5 mm is microplastic. Okay, less than 5 mm is microplastic. Nanoplastic nanometers में measure करते हैं. So usually around 1000 nanometers or smaller is nanoplastic. So microplastic, they are produced from the day-to-day कंज्यूमर प्लास्टिक गुड से निकल के आ जाते हैं एंड दे बिकम वेरी स्मॉल fragments of plastic and they get easily washed away by the water. And recently one of the study by IASC has indicated that in Kaveri water there is huge quantity of this microplastic which is impacting the fish in Kaveri. Which is the famous fish found in Kaveri? Which type of mashir? How many types of mashir are there in India? Majorly 3 हैं. So इसके अलावा 2-3 और है, तो they are not very common. So there are 3 types of mashir. One is the Himalayan golden mashir, Himalayan में है. Okay, second one is blue finned mashir, Deccan region में होते हैं, महाराष्ट्र के around. So third one is humpback mashir, humpback. Okay, that is in Kaveri river. Humpbacked mashir is basically I think critically endangered. ये उसका बैक थोड़ा सा ऐसे रहता है, humpback जैसे रहता है. So microplastic से ज़्यादा खतरनाक है नैनोप्लास्टिक, राइट. इट कैन रीच मच इंटीरियर, है ना. माइक्रोप्लास्टिक तो टिश्यूज तक जा सकते हैं, नैनोप्लास्टिक तो और अंदर तक जा सकते हैं, राइट, है ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई दे आर मोर डेंजरस. सो इतना काफ़ी है. सो नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज अर्थ गंगा. यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा डिटेल में चाहिए, because there are various programs related to Ganga. So I'll give you a brief background of this, all the various initiatives taken for Ganga cleaning. So as per our mythology, Ganga is considered to be very sacred and Ganga से नहाने से हमारा पाप सारा धुल जाता है. तो अभी हम गंगा को क्लीन कर रहे हैं. What a irony. And it is not something which is the recent times. Okay, it is which we are doing since last 30-40 years. Okay, so 2014 से पहले से भी कर रहे हैं. So this is not a first program. There are various programs. Okay, let me just give you a timeline of this. The first major initiative was taken in the year 1986. Okay, 1986, that is when the Ganga Action Plan was started. Ganga Action Plan was started in the year 1986. Okay, तब से भी pollution है. तो pollution in Ganga is something which is there for a long period of time, and over a period of time it has not decreased, rather it has increased. And it has been the successive governments have tried to do it, and it has been not very successful even now. अभी तक भी ज़्यादा successful नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है. The first program was Ganga Action Plan, which was initiated in 1986 with the major aim of controlling pollution. Okay, pollution control in Ganga. So that time the major source of pollution was the release of effluents from the industries and sewage direct discharge हो रहा था ना, तो उसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए 1986 में शुरू किया था. So it was in 1995 the Ganga Action Plan phase 2 was started. Okay, Ganga Action Plan phase 2 was started. So during this, in the phase 2, along with Ganga river, its tributaries were also covered. Okay, tributaries and the other surrounding region rivers, सारा rivers को cover कर लिया था. So with the intention of cleaning all the around surrounding rivers, and for this they started a program called as National River Conservation Plan. National River Conservation Plan. This program was started in the year 1995, and this is part of this Ganga Action Plan phase 2. So ये भी चल रहा था, and it was in the year 2009. National River Ganga Basin Authority was established. National River Ganga Basin Authority was established. This was the famous NRGBA. National River Ganga Basin Authority was established. So because Ganga Action Plan 1, Ganga Action Plan 2 तो चल ही रहा था, there was not much of progress made in those two programs, and the government wanted to make much more efforts, and this time they formed a separate authority which will look after the entire cleaning process, and this body was headed by Prime Minister. Okay, it brought the body directly under the Prime Minister. Along with that, the 5 chief ministers. Okay, so Ganga to 5 states mein hai na. The 5 chief ministers of the states through which the Ganga flows. What are the states through which the Ganga flows? Uttarakhand, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand. Okay, remember Jharkhand bhi hai, just along the corner, along the northeastern part, it crosses Jharkhand, and then West Bengal. The 5 states, and the chief ministers of these 5 states, they are also the members of this authority. So in addition to that, 6 union ministers. Okay, 6 union ministers are also members. The overall objective was to safeguard Ganga and to clean the Ganga and its entire drainage basin. Okay, to safeguard Ganga and to clean the entire Ganga and its drainage basin. With that objective, they established an authority, and that was established in the year 2009. In the same year, another mission was started, that is the Mission Clean Ganga. Mission Clean Ganga was also started in the year 2009. So this was a new mission. जब नया body establish हुआ, बोला कि चलो एक नया mission भी शुरू कर लेते हैं. So then they established this new mission, and they said that the overall objective is to completely clean Ganga by 2020. Okay, by 2020 to completely clean Ganga and to completely stop any kind of discharge into Ganga, untreated waste, untreated effluents, है ना, sewage, कुछ भी discharge नहीं होना चाहिए by 2020. And this was a totally failure. Okay, तो ये तो पता है अभी तक नहीं हुआ है ना. So that's major reason was that there was no component of involvement of community, citizens. Okay, उनका involvement का community का मतलब कोई भी component नहीं था. Just the government wanted to implement it as a project, and that was a total failure. Okay, that was Mission Clean Ganga. And to implement this Mission Clean Ganga, they also established a body which is called as National Mission for Clean Ganga. Remember, National Mission for Clean Ganga is a body. Okay, it is not a program. It is a body. Yes, it was established as a society. It was established as a society, and it is the implementing arm of NRGBA. It is the implementing arm of NRGBA. मतलब NRGBA तो पूरा ओवरऑल अथॉरिटी है, वो जो डायरेक्शन देंगे ये लोग काम करेंगे. NRGBA is a kind of regulator मतलब the ultimate decision making body is NRGBA. This is the implementing body. It's a kind of executive. It is the implementing arm of NRGBA, the National Mission for Clean Ganga. ठीक है. So this was happening. That was during second UPA, है ना. Second UPA का term में ये establish हुआ था. And then the new government came in 2014. So again they changed everything. They revamped the entire program of cleaning Ganga, and they started a new program called as Namami Gange. Okay, Namami Gange. This program is also called as Integrated Ganga Conservation Mission. Namami Gange is also called as Integrated Ganga Conservation Mission. It has two components. ये तो पता है, हर साल तो पढ़ के आए. निर्मल धारा and अविरल धारा. Nirmal Dhara and Aviral Dhara. Nirmal means clean. So this component aims to ensure clean water flowing through Ganga. है ना, pollution reduction हो गया, sewage treatment हो गया, industrial effluent जो भी release हो रहे उसको treat होके release होने. That is what is Nirmal Dhara. Aviral Dhara is about continuous flow in order to ensure ecological flow. What is ecological flow? the flow of water which is required to ensure the minimum, मतलब जो ecology of the Ganga river, जो जितना minimum पानी चाहिए उसको बोलते हैं ecological flow. To ensure ecological function of the river and to sustain the ecological activities in the river, so that amount of water is called as ecological flow. So the second component is to ensure that there is a minimum amount of flow in the Ganga river. Okay, continuous flow होना चाहिए. निर्मल धारा is pollution control. Okay, clean है ना. So pollution control वाला component है निर्मल धारा, and to ensure continuous and minimum flow, that is aviral dhara. So along with that, there are also various parts of this program. It's a very large program है ना, नमामि गंगे. इसके अंदर तो बहुत सारा components है. So the components include establishment of Ganga Grams. Okay, Ganga Grams are the villages located on the river bank of Ganga, and they concentrated in these villages particularly for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan है ना. So open defecation नहीं होना चाहिए, waste disposal नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो भी होगा यहाँ पर गंगा में ही आएगा ना. So they targeted these villages, and these villages were called as the Ganga Grams. And they also targeted afforestation program along the Ganga river banks in order to ensure the stabilization. पूरा bank stabilization के लिए afforestation हो गया, river front development हो गया. Okay, all these components were there. And to fund all these program, all these initiatives, they established a fund called as Clean Ganga Fund. Clean Ganga Fund is totally voluntary contribution based. Okay, it is not through budgetary allocation. Clean Ganga Fund. And in the year 2016, National River Ganga Basin Authority was replaced with National Ganga Council. So the present highest body is National Ganga Council. जो पहले National River Ganga Basin Authority था, उसको reconstitute कर दिया as National Ganga Council. Okay, members तो same ही हैं. And even now, अभी कौन कौन सा चल रहा है इतने सारे में? So presently it is the National Ganga Council is the apex body, and उसका implementation arm है National Mission for Clean Ganga. Okay, and presently under implementation is Namami Gange program. So is that clear? इसके ऊपर मेंस का भी क्वेश्चन आ गया है. पूरा गंगा क्लीनिंग के ऊपर कितना प्रोग्राम्स है, so क्या क्या हुआ है, क्यों सक्सेसफुल नहीं है, ऐसा मेंस का भी क्वेश्चन आया था. So now Arth Ganga. Arth means economy. So what is this Arth Ganga? So in its last meeting of this National Ganga Council, okay, National Ganga Council in 2019, not last meeting, in 2019 meeting which was held in Kanpur, our Prime Minister recommended, he suggested a program to be implemented, okay, and that program was given the name of Arth Ganga. So what is this Arth Ganga? So अभी तक जो भी हमने किया है, so to clean the Ganga and to ensure that there is no pollution, all of this. So we were talking about just cleaning Ganga. So this time we are trying to give a new angle to this cleaning Ganga. That is, at one side we have to clean Ganga, yes. At the second time, in the second parallel side में उसके through employment भी generate कर सकते हैं. Right? We can generate economic activities in the process of cleaning Ganga. So that idea is what is called as Arth Ganga. Right? Overall, to generate economic activities during the process of this cleaning Ganga to ensure pollution reduction and to ensure there is the continuous and clear flow. निर्मल धारा, अविरल धारा का दोनों का component है ना, उसमें we can generate employment because this entire stretch of this Ganga flows through a very large number of villages, towns, and all these states, and overall it aims to develop the economic activities in this entire stretch. So that idea is what is called as Arthaganga, to create economic livelihood opportunities to sustain activities under the Namami Gange program. So this time it is expected that this will result in sustainability, क्योंकि और लोग participate करेंगे, right? So you are basically incentivizing, आप इसमें participate करो, आपको भी फायदा है, तो गंगा के लिए भी फायदा है, ऐसे बोल के उनको attract करने का ये बस. Okay, that program was recently launched, and that is what is called as Arthaganga. It has many different components, many different verticals. These are the verticals. For example, institution building. Okay, institution building mein they aim to establish the local level institutions and increase the capacity. And zero budget natural farming, that is on 10-kilometer sides of both the sides of the river, they want to support the chemical free farming, so that overall farmers के लिए भी फायदा है and गंगा रिवर का pollution भी कम हो जाए, right? And monetization and reuse of sludge and waste water, because while treating this effluent treat करना है, so solid waste treat करना है, तो वहाँ पर जो भी resource extract होगा and उसको भी utilize कर सकता है ना. So that is reuse of treated waste water in irrigation, industries and revenue generation for urban local bodies. Livelihood generation opportunity is also part of this. For example, so हाँ ये थोड़ा सा नया है and थोड़ा नाम भी important है, देख लेना, घाट में हाट. So that is shops along the river front, right? So promotion of local products, Ayurveda, medicinal plants, and capacity building of the volunteers like Ganga Praharis. So ये सब basically we are integrating the pollution control cleaning with the economic income generation activities. And then public participation to ensure increased synergies between the stakeholders, ठीक है? And tourism, cultural heritage to promote boat tourism. Okay, so and promotion of yoga and adventure tourism along the Ganga and Ganga Aartis. Ganga Aarti तो बहुत फेमस है, बहुत जगह में होता है. वही मतलब जो भी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी करने वाला है, that we should ensure that that will not result in pollution. तो वही इसमें ये सब बोला है कि हम नहीं करेंगे, है ना, तो पोल्यूशन कम करेंगे एंड इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज भी जनरेट करेंगे. सो लेट्स सी कितना होगा, आइडिया तो है. सो एज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस फ्यू मोर इनिशिएटिव्स हैव बीन लॉन्च्ड रिसेंटली. सो व्हाट आर दे? ओके, दिस कैन बी योर प्रीलिम्स क्वेश्चन. Jalaj. Jalaj is an initiative launched as a part of Arthaganga. So it was launched in 26 locations. Basically Jalaj are these small shops or floating mobile shops, है ना, बोट के ऊपर हो गया या रिवर फ्रंट के ऊपर हो गया. सो जो छोटा छोटा शॉप्स को सपोर्ट करना, दैट इज व्हाट इज Jalaj. It involves setting up of small shops or floating mobile centers to promote livelihood on the banks of river Ganga. Okay, so another initiative is Sahakar Ganga Gram. Sahakar Ganga Gram. So Ganga Gram तो हमने वहां पर देखा था. So what was Ganga Gram? वही villages which are located along the Ganga river bank where we targeted to reduce the open defecation, है ना, तो एंड द वेस्ट डिस्पोजल, ये सब टारगेट किए थे, एफोरेस्टेशन टारगेट किए थे. दैट इज व्हाट इज गंगा ग्राम. साकार गंगा ग्राम, साकार मींस कोऑपरेटिव्स. सो देयर इज ए एनजीओ कॉल्ड as Sakar Bharti. Okay, so Sakar Bharti, it is working in the field of cooperatives. So the National Mission for Clean Ganga and Sakar Bharti has made a MOU saying that Sakar Bharti will help in formation of cooperatives along the farmers and train them in natural farming. ओके, नेचुरल फार्मिंग, ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग में उनको ट्रेन करेंगे एंड उनको प्रमोट करेंगे. वो जो वहाँ पर कल्टिवेट हुआ है उसको कैसे बेचना है, वट एवर द प्रोडक्ट्स विच दे आर ग्रोइंग ओवर देयर इन दीज गंगा ग्राम्स. सो बेसिकली गंगा ग्राम्स में along the river bank, whatever the villages are there, so they will form these cooperatives of farmers and they will train them in natural farming and help them in selling the products of natural farming. ठीक है, that is what is Sakar Ganga Gram. And they use the brand Ganga, है ना, गंगा ग्राम में प्रोड्यूस हुआ है, नेचुरल फार्मिंग से प्रोड्यूस हुआ है, तो ऐसे बोल के. सो इससे फार्मर्स का भी इनकम बढ़ेगा एंड गंगा भी थोड़ा नेचुरल फार्मिंग की वजह से पोल्यूशन भी कम होगा. सो दे आल्सो स्टार्टेड अ पोर्टल कॉल्ड एस I Am Avatar. I am Avatar. So this is basically for facilitating tourism and marketing of all these products, है ना, agriculture products, handmade products, ये सब चीज़ें बेचने के लिए एक पोर्टल खोला है, that is what is I am Avatar. So overall through this activities, it is expected to contribute around 3% of GDP from the Ganga basin and expected to benefit through economic generation of nearly more than 1,000 crores in the next 5 years. So let's hope that this happens. This only the Ganga river के बगल में जो villages है उनका ही consider करते हुए बेसिन में पूरा आ जाते हैं. We are talking about this Ganga grams and the surrounding regions. वैसे ही exactly तो check नहीं कर पाएंगे, ठीक है. So and there is also district Ganga committees. Okay, this is important. So because I told you the major reason behind the failure of the earlier mission was the lack of community participation. To increase the community participation, they have established these committees at every district which is located in the Ganga River. Ganga River के बगल में जो district है ना, so in each of the district the committee has been established which is called as the District Ganga Committee. And who heads this committee? DM. Okay, DM DC is the chairperson of this committee. And there will be other local people, local leaders, all of them, they will participate. So overall they are mandated to utilize the assets created under Namami Gange. Okay, जो भी उसके अंदर आएगा, जो common assets हो गया, common कुछ income generation होगा, जो fees वगैरह levy करेंगे, ये सब आएगा. And how to utilize this, they will decide this. Okay, whatever the asset generation, whatever the income generation is happening through this activity, so to use those resources and assets, this committee has been established. Okay, this will also help in the community participation, right? So to increase, major agenda है कि to increase the community participation. That is what is district Ganga committees. ठीक है? Any doubts here? Formed under? No, National Ganga Council is not formed under Environmental Protection Act. It is not a statutory body. ठीक है. So few other initiatives for water conservation. इसमें important है, ये भी क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं, सिंपल क्वेश्चन, भारत टैप. Okay, important topic, Bharat tap. So it's basically taps and the sanitary wares, है ना, जो भी पानी water related, जो भी taps and the flush, all these, है ना, जो sanitary wares होता है ना. So there they are trying to develop such kind of taps and sanitary wares which are low water. मतलब जो अभी जो नॉर्मली यूज करते हैं उसके अंदर तो बहुत ज़्यादा पानी निकलता है और बहुत ज़्यादा वेस्ट होता है ना. सो दे आर ट्राइंग टू डेवलप सच काइंड ऑफ टैप्स विच रिलीजेस लो वाटर एंड सेव्स वाटर. ओके, ओवरऑल वाटर यूजेज भी कम होगा उससे एंड वाटर वेस्टेज भी कम होगा. सो दिस इज अंडर रिलीज, मतलब अंडर द ओवरऑल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स and implemented through Amrut and SBM, Swachh Bharat Mission. है ना, बहुत इजीली इसको कंफ्यूज कर सकते हैं. भारत टैप, लाइक यू कैन ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट द, और क्या ऑप्शन बना सकते हैं बताइए. हाँ, हर घर जल भी हो सकते हैं. और क्या बना सकते हैं? इंटरनेट रिलेटेड हो सकते हैं, या वायरलेस ट्रांजैक्शन टैप एंड पे, वो भी बना सकते हैं. हाँ, ऑप्शन में होगा. राइट. सो या वही भारत QR कोड, ऐसे भी हो सकते हैं. तो ऑप्शन तो होगा. सो देयर विल बी अ सिंपल ऑप्शन रिलेटेड टू द लो वाटर यूजेज टैप्स, है ना. So next one, National Water Awards. National Water Awards देखो. So it is coming under which ministry? Jal Shakti Ministry. Basically awards है जो sensitize the public about the importance of water usage, और उनमें से जो भी काम किया है, अच्छा सा काम किया है in terms of water saving, water usage, उनको थोड़ा सा awards दे देंगे बस. Okay, ministry is important. Ministry of Jal Shakti. Jal Doot app is important. Jal Doot app. Ministry कौन सा है? Ministry of Rural Development. Okay, so you understand the working of this app, you will be easily able to remember. So basically at the village level, it is very important to identify the water levels. Okay, so हर villages में जो overall water, ground water level कहाँ पर है, वो assessment करना बहुत important है. So to do that, they have this app, and that is used by Gram Rojgar Sahayak, GRS, Gram Rojgar Sahayak. He will actually measure the water level in the surrounding villages, and in each of the wells he will check, and he will use this app to update that water level, and overall information is collaborated, and they use the data in the planning. Local level planning में depending upon the water level, इस season में कितना हो सकता है, इस season में कितना हो सकता है, we'll get a better idea, and we can implement any of the water conservation measures. Okay, rain water harvesting measure implement कर सकते हैं, या even we can watershed development program भी इसको use करके implement कर सकते हैं. So various activities at the village level can be planned using this information. So this is an app to collect the information. This will not give the information. Remember, it will not give the information. इतना भी technology नहीं है कि इस app देख लिया तो पानी का level आ जाएगा. ठीक है, it is an app to collect the information and update the information at the village level and use that information. Swachh Sujal Pradesh. Swachh Sujal Pradesh. So basically it's a certification given by Ministry of Jal Shakti. Ministry of Jal Shakti provides this certification to whichever the states or union territories which has fulfilled three components. Okay, first component, safe and secure drinking water supply. Okay, it should have the safe and secure drinking water supply. Second, open defecation free plus, ODF plus. ODF is different, ODF plus is different. क्या difference है? ODF is just open defecation, है ना? So ODF plus is the sludge management, है ना? In a sound environment manner, that is ODF plus. So third, cross-cutting interventions like convergence, IEC and action planning, etc. So जो भी state इसको fulfill करेंगे उनको ये वाला tag दे देंगे, that is Swachh Sujal Pradesh. So India's first Swachh Sujal Pradesh is Andaman Nicobar Islands, and all the villages in Andaman Nicobar Islands have received the certification of Har Ghar Jal. ठीक है? So those are other initiatives related to water conservation. So next topic, COP 15 of UNCCD. So first of all, what is this UNCCD? UN Convention to Combat Desertification. This is the result of Rio Earth Summit. Rio Earth Summit of 1992 resulted in three important conventions. They are commonly called as the Rio Conventions. What are the three Rio Conventions? UNFCCC, UNCBD and UNCCD. Okay, this is the third convention. First two are related to climate change and then biodiversity, and this is related to desertification, to combat desertification. So this is a legally binding international convention, international agreement we can say in a way, and that was established in the year 1994. Okay, so overall aim is to reduce the land degradation, and there are 196 parties to it, including India. Okay. And one of the major initiatives launched under this is land degradation neutrality, LDN. What is LDN? ठीक है, anything else? ठीक है, हाँ ये है, रिवर्स तो करना है, अल्टरनेटिव भी देना है. To what extent? So that it will fulfill our present needs. So long back we have exceeded this. The present amount of land available is not able to fulfill the needs of the present generation itself. Okay, sustainable development छोड़ो, अभी development नहीं हो रहा है. The amount of land presently available is not able to provide the resources required for the human community which is present on the surface of earth. So दो कारण है, एक तो लैंड डिग्रेडेशन इज हैपनिंग एट सच ए फास्ट रेट, सेकंड हमारा जो डिमांड है वो भी बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, राइट, आवर डिमांड इज आल्सो इंक्रीजिंग. सो दिस इज अ स्टेटस वेयर आवर डिमांड्स आर मेट बाय ए प्रॉपर, मतलब जितना लैंड चाहिए उतना लैंड अवेलेबल है. आवर डिमांड्स आर मेट बाय द लैंड अवेलेबल, एंड in that land there is some part which definitely undergoes degradation, which we cannot completely stop. Okay, there is some part which undergoes degradation, and there we are trying to bring it back through some other measures, afforestation, reforestation, है ना. So ये सब करके हम उसको वापस लेके आ रहे हैं, so that there is no net loss of land. So that is what is land degradation neutrality. है ना, to achieve that status where the land available is able to fulfill the overall services and to be provided, and that target is to be achieved by 2030. 2030. Okay, this idea is given by UNCCD, and this has been part of our SDG also, Sustainable Development Goals का भी part है, right? So this is one of the major initiative of this UNCCD. उसके लिए एक LDN fund भी launch किया है, Land Degradation Neutrality Fund. ठीक है. So similar to the other conventions, even इसका भी अपना COP चलता ही रहता है. The latest COP is COP 15. COP 15. So that was held in Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, and that was in Abidjan. Abidjan is in Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is in Western Africa. So what is the SDG number which aims to achieve LDN? 15. Okay, 15.3. So this time the COP was held in Ivory Coast, Abidjan, and the theme of the coast was land, life, legacy. Okay, theme of this COP important है कि क्योंकि इसी नाम से एक रिपोर्ट भी लेके आया है, तो वो क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. लैंड लाइफ लेगेसी वाज अ रिपोर्ट रिलीज्ड इन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग, ऐसे सिंपल क्वेश्चन. लैंड लाइफ लेगेसी फ्रॉम स्केर्सिटी टू प्रॉस्पेरिटी. So what are the major outcomes of this? So there are few important commitments made. So one of the most important commitment to restore 1 billion hectare of degraded land by 2030. To restore 1 billion hectare of degraded land by 2030. Okay, this is one of the commitment which is given. Second important commitment was to address forced migration and displaced due to desertification and land degradation. For that, we need to increase the rural resilience and livelihood stability. Resilience means the capacity to withstand. That is what is resilience. And another important commitment, improve women's involvement in land management as an important enabler for effective land restoration. Okay, this has been clearly identified as COP as a part of UNCCD itself. The women have a greater role to play in land restoration and to reduce the land degradation. So is that right? Okay, historically it has been proven. So starting from our Chipko movement to various different initiatives were actually led by women. And it is the women who are directly involved in the activities related to the land, related to the forest. Okay, so resource extraction se leke, water extraction se leke. So everything, they are the ones who are closely associated. So their role is very important here. And the land degradation is going to impact them first at the rural level. Land degradation, okay, starting from the availability of water. If the water availability decreases, the women have to travel for longer distance to fetch water. And it is the girl child who will child who will lose education, because it is the girl child which is usually given the responsibility of the collecting water, the firewood in the rural areas. Okay, so land degradation has a direct impact on the gender gap, right? So of course it's because of the patriarchy. Okay. So in addition to that, to address sand and dust storms by establishing early warning, risk management, mitigation, all of this, and to bring synergies between the three Rio conventions, UNCBD, UNCCD and UNFCCC. ओके, तीनों के बीच में सिनर्जी लेके आना, ये सब चीजें बात हुआ था. मेजर टारगेट जो है हमारा, रिस्टोरेशन ऑफ 1 बिलियन हेक्टेयर ऑफ डिग्रेडेड लैंड बाय 2030, and they also spoke about the involvement of women in land management. Okay, two important declarations were made here. One is Abidjan Declaration on Achieving Gender Equality. Okay, जो अभी बात किया था, Abidjan Declaration on Achieving Gender Equality. Simple direct question आ सकते हैं. This is related. Abidjan Declaration on Achieving Gender Equality is in relation to what? In climate change, biodiversity conservation, land degradation. Okay, ऐसे options आ सकते हैं. And second important declaration was the COP15 Land Life Legacy Declaration. ठीक है. In addition to this, Sahel Sourcing Challenge. Sahel Sourcing Challenge. Where is this Sahel? Africa. So this is the surrounding peripheral region of Sahara. Sahara के surrounding region में ना, there is semi-arid region. It is basically between Sahara and Savannah. Sahara is totally desert, Savannah is grassland. इन दोनों के बीच में है Sahel. So there is a initiative which is going on. What is the initiative? The Great Green Wall. Great Green Wall initiative. They are trying to build a huge wall of the vegetation, natural vegetation, stretching all the way from the Western Africa to Eastern Africa in the Sahel region to stop the desertification and land degradation. So Sahara Sourcing Challenge is basically to enable the communities involved here to use technology to monitor the progress and create job and commercialize their product. Okay, so overall ये जो initiative लेके आ रहे हैं ना, so वहाँ पर उनके लिए भी फायदा होना चाहिए. Of course their economic activities, whatever the time which they are giving, that should be valued, right? So उसके through कोई भी produce आ गया तो उसको थोड़ा सा marketing वगैरह कर सकते हैं. So they are using this initiative, Sahara Sourcing Challenge. So यहाँ पर एक और रिपोर्ट का भी बात होता है, ग्लोबल लैंड आउटलुक. ओके, वो जो कॉलम है न्यू डिक्लेरेशन इश्यूड, वहां पर लास्ट पॉइंट देखो, ग्लोबल लैंड आउटलुक 2 मिला. सो दैट इज अ रिपोर्ट ऑफ यूएनसीसीडी. यूएनसीसीडी का ऑफिशियल रिपोर्ट है, which talks about the overall level of land degradation which is happening in the world. Who releases this report? UNCCD. So next topic, light pollution. light pollution, photo pollution, what do you mean by that? Light and photo pollution both are same? So there are different forms of light pollution. Okay, basically excessive light is what is light pollution. Natural से ज़्यादा होता है, so that is what is light pollution. So you might have seen this viral picture, satellite image of India during Diwali. वो दिवाली का नहीं है, ऐसे ही वायरल बना दिया उसको. Okay, so that is normal light. Okay, normal light. So there are different types of light pollution. Okay, one is glare. What is glare? Excessive brightness. जितना चाहिए उससे बहुत ज़्यादा bright light लगा के रखते हैं ना, that is what is glare, excessive glare. Sky glow observed over the cities. City के ऊपर जो भी sky है night time है, so there is too much of glow. If you are traveling for a long distance, है ना, रात में कहीं पे चलते चलते दिखता है, बहुत दूर से city वगैरह है तो उसके ऊपर glare दिखता है. Okay, so sorry, glow दिखता है. That is what is sky glow. Light trespass. That is light falling in the area where it is not intended to be. So where are the areas where light is not supposed to be falling? Forest areas. Okay, forest areas most importantly. हाँ, तो and clutter, grouping. Okay, that is what is clutter, grouping of the light sources. So ठीक है, ये सब light pollution है. Now there is a NGO, International Dark Sky Association. International Dark Sky Association. So it is an organization which is basically trying to raise awareness in the context of light pollution and the negative impacts of light pollution. ठीक है, सो नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स ऑफ लाइट पोल्यूशन ये सब तो यहाँ पर दिया है, बस गो थ्रू कर लेना, थोड़ा सा जनरल है. इसमें एक टर्म इंपॉर्टेंट है, सर्केडियम रिदम. ठीक है, व्हाट इज सर्केडियम रिदम? जो बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक चलता है ना, सो दैट इज व्हाट इज सर्केडियम रिदम. सो लाइट पोल्यूशन की वजह से वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं. सो यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स का सबका डिस्टर्ब हो गया, वो तो पता है. सो बाकी सब तो जनरल है, यू कैन रीड अबाउट दैट. सो इंटरनेशनल Dark Sky Association is basically there. It's a organization which is trying to raise awareness. It organizes a annual event which is called as International Dark Sky Week. International Dark Sky Week. Okay, not very important. हर साल होता है, but organization is important क्योंकि recently कुछ news में है. Okay, recently news में है. Recently क्यों news में है? जो इसमें नहीं दिया है, इंडियाज फर्स्ट डार्क स्काई रिजर्व हैज बीन रिसेंटली अनाउंस्ड. इंडियाज फर्स्ट डार्क स्काई रिजर्व हैज बीन अनाउंस्ड. ओके, यू नीड टू ऐड दिस. सो वेयर इज इंडियाज फर्स्ट डार्क स्काई रिजर्व? कहाँ? लद्दाख तो बहुत बड़ा एरिया है. हैनले. हैनले इज अ वेरी स्मॉल विलेज इन लद्दाख. एनी ऑफ यू हैव बीन टू लद्दाख? चलो कोई नहीं, सिलेक्शन के बाद में चलते हैं. सो हाँ, तो भारत दर्शन में तो लेके जाएंगे, ठीक है. सो लद्दाख में तो मोस्ट कॉमनली जो ट्रैक है, जो सर्किट होते हैं, जो लोग चलता है, सो वन इज ले, सेकेंड वन इज नुब्रा वैली, तो जहाँ पर जो डबल हम्प्ड कैमल्स होगा, जो सैंड ड्यून्स वगैरह होगा. तीसरा है पैंगोंग सो लेक, जो 3 इडियट्स में आ गया था. तो यही मेजर है. बट अदर देन दिस देयर आर मेनी ब्यूटीफुल प्लेसेस विच इज लेस एक्सप्लोर्ड. सो वन इज हैनले, अच्छा है लेस एक्सप्लोर्ड. ओके, यहाँ पर लोग जाते हैं जो स्काई ऑब्जर्वेशन के लिए. ओके, एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल ऑब्जर्वेशंस एंड एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स ऑब्जर्वेशन के लिए चलते हैं यहाँ पर. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द प्लेसेस वेयर देयर इज अ वेरी लेस लाइट पोल्यूशन and the sky is very clearly visible, and all the जो भी स्टार गेजिंग करना है या इंटरनेशनल ऑब्जर्वेशन करना है, बहुत दूर दूर से आते हैं लोग. इवन इंडिया हैज ऑल्सो एस्टेब्लिश्ड एन इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल ऑब्जर्वेटरी. ओके, इंडिया हैज एस्टेब्लिश्ड दिस इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल ऑब्जर्वेटरी विद चंद्रा टेलीस्कोप. चंद्रा टेलीस्कोप सुना है? वो यहीं पे. ओके, इट्स इन हैनले. सो इट इज नियर टू द लेक सोमोरीरी. सोमोरिरी लेक सुना है ना, सोमोरिरी के पास में है. So this region has been recently announced as India's first dark sky reserve. हैनले, मतलब जो अननेसरी लाइट यहाँ पर अलो नहीं करेंगे. ओके, दे पुट सम रेगुलेशंस, इसके टाइम के बाद में बंद करना है, अननेसरी इंस्टॉल नहीं करना है ऐसे. वैसे ही पॉपुलेशन कम है, सो ओवरऑल दैट इज द आइडिया टू मेंटेन दिस. एंड ओवरऑल व्हाई देयर इज it is the sky is so clearly visible in this region. You might have seen various pictures of this Milky Way galaxy. Milky Way galaxy का पिक्चर्स देखा है आप लोगों ने? तो दिस इज मोस्ट कॉमन वॉलपेपर है ना मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी का. बहुत लोगों को पता भी नहीं है मिल्की वे गैलेक्सी. This is the picture of Milky Way galaxy. So it can be observed from very few locations, and that too depending upon the timing, है ना, timing के हिसाब से दिखता है. So this is how you can clearly see in the night sky, not everywhere. So that can be clearly observed from here. Ladakh में so this region, okay, you can clearly see this. Not only Milky Way galaxy, also all the type of stargazing activity they are done here. ठीक है. So why is it so? Because light pollution कम है and air is also very clear. Dust particles कम होता है and overall the air amount of air itself is less, right? बहुत कम रहता है. So that is better. Air glow, that is light glow. Sky, मतलब overall air glow may be referring to the dust particles in the air reflecting more amount of sunlight or more amount of light maybe. ठीक है. So this is the news. Officially नहीं, एक्ट में नहीं है, रूल्स में होता है यूजुअली पोल्यूशन रिलेटेड. सो बट कोई भी ऐसे रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं है. देयर इज नो रेगुलेशंस रिगार्डिंग दैट लाइट पोल्यूशन. एयर एक्ट में नहीं है, एयर एक्ट में नहीं है. एयर एक्ट में पोल्यूशन एयर पोल्यूशन का ही बात होता है. ठीक है. सो नेक्स्ट वन, बैन ऑन सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक. कि थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर बैकग्राउंड चाहिए. सो लेट मी ब्रीफली टेल यू दिस. कि 2 रूल्स वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स में 2 इंपॉर्टेंट है इस बार. वन इज प्लास्टिक वेस्ट, लास्ट ईयर भी इंपॉर्टेंट था, इस बार भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड सेकंड वन इज ई वेस्ट. ई वेस्ट का रूल्स अपडेट हो गया. ओके, न्यू रूल्स हैव बीन रिलीज दिस टाइम. So we have various different waste management rules. कौन कौन सा है बताइए? प्लास्टिक वेस्ट, ई वेस्ट, सॉलिड वेस्ट, एंड देन बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट, हजार्डस वेस्ट, कंस्ट्रक्शन एंड डेमोलिशन वेस्ट. ओके, मेजर है. सो इनमें से प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. So originally from 2016, okay, it has been regularly amended. Okay, original rules to 2016 है. So all these rules are made by the government based on the powers derived from the Environment Protection Act. ठीक है. So very briefly बता दूंगा. So this rules basically to manage the plastic waste in India. So it is applicable all over India. The first important provision is it bans single-use plastic. Okay, this rules ओरिजिनली 2016 में था, बाद में अमेंड करके जो 2021 में अमेंडमेंट करके दोबारा रूल्स लेके आए ना. सो ओरिजिनल 16 को ही अमेंड किया है. सो दैट अमेंडमेंट बैंड्स द यूज ऑफ सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक इन इंडिया. सो विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल अबाउट दैट. ओके, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, ये सब चीज़ें. एंड अदर दैन दिस इट ऑल्सो प्रिस्क्राइब्स द मिनिमम थिकनेस ऑफ plastic carry bags to be used in India. What is the present minimum thickness of plastic carry bags to be used in India? 120 microns. Okay, so it was earlier 75 microns till December 31st 2022, and after that it has been increased to 120 microns. Presently it is 120 microns. Why is it so? It is easier to recycle. Okay, जितना पतला होगा उसको recycle करना मुश्किल है. यस, तो मेजर है कि रिसाइकल इजी है, तो उसी के वजह से ही है. यस, ठीक है, ठीक है, कॉस्टली भी हो जाएगा, बट ओवरऑल आइडिया है कि रिसाइकल करना इजी रहेगा. ठीक है, सो विद दैट पर्पस दे हैव इंक्रीज द मिनिमम थिकनेस ऑफ दिस प्लास्टिक कैरी बैग्स. एंड उसमें भी रूल्स है, नॉट एवरीवन कैन सेल, ओनली द रजिस्टर्ड शॉपकीपर्स कैन सेल. सो ये जो थैला वाला, सब्जी वाला, ये इनको नहीं बेचना है. Okay, so only registered shopkeepers can sell, and that too they cannot give it free. Okay, only after taking the fees. Okay, so separate पैसा दे के ही देना है. Okay, बाकी सारा illegal है. And that is another thing. That is another third one is plastic packaging waste. जो पैकेजिंग रिलेटेड मटेरियल होता है ना, so उसके लिए अलग सा है. So that is usually not covered under single use plastic. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए अलग सा रूल्स लेके आए हैं. एंड दिस हैज बीन ब्रॉट अंडर ईपीआर. व्हाट इज ईपीआर? एक्सटेंडेड प्रोड्यूसर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. ठीक है, सो दीज आर द बेसिक थिंग्स विच आर पार्ट ऑफ दिस रूल्स. एंड इसमें है जो मेजर पार्ट है सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक, SUP. सो व्हाट इज अ सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक? दीज आर द प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्ट्स विच वर सपोज टू बी यूज्ड ओनली वंस. ओके, सपोज टू बी है, बट इंडिया में तो हम यूज नहीं करते, बहुत बार यूज करते रहते हैं. Okay, including the water bottles, plastic spoons, plastic containers, cutleries, all of these, they are supposed to be single use plastic. Wrappers. Okay, so there are many such single use plastic. Okay. So we have banned a comprehensive list of single use plastic, and remember this is not overall. ऐसा नहीं कि सारा single use plastic ban नहीं है. The government has prescribed what are the single use plastic which has been banned. And that ban has been imposed since 1st July 2022. 1st July 2022 से ही वो impose हो गया. In fact, we wanted to ban this in 2019. 2019 से भी ban करना था, and थोड़ा सा पुश किया, 2020 को पुश किया, 2020 में कोविड आ गया, है ना. फिर 2021 में आया, द गवर्नमेंट वांटेड टू इम्प्लीमेंट दैट. फिर सब लोग बोलने लगे अभी अभी इकोनॉमी आ रहे, वापस आ रहे. तो फिर कोई भी ठीक से इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे सोच के 2022 में फाइनली इंप्लीमेंट किया हमने. ओके, जुलाई 1st 2022. सिंस देन इट इज बैंड इन इंडिया. सो एंड एज आई टोल्ड यू, इट इज ए लिस्ट ऑफ द प्लास्टिक आइटम, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक आइटम हैज बीन गिवन. सो ओनली दे आर बैंड, एंड compostable plastic, even if it is single use, it is not banned. Okay, compostable plastic is not banned, and packaging plastic is also not banned. Packaging plastic can be used, and whoever violates this, he will be given punishment, even imprisonment or penalty or both. Okay, so that is under EPA, Environment Protection Act. ठीक है, and it includes a complete list of single-use plastics such as plastic sticks used in earbuds, balloons, plastic flags, candy stick, ice cream sticks. If you at all you had noticed clearly, ये सब तो अभी wood based आ गया. Okay, and packaging, wrapping films. Okay, on sweet box, invitation card, cigarette packets, and cutlery items like plates, cups, glasses. ये सारा अभी पेपर वाला आ रहा है. थोड़ा सा मोटा वाला होता है या पेपर वाला होता है. Okay, they are not single use. Fork, spoon, knives, straw, trays, and other items like plastic or PVC banners less than 100 microns. Stirrers, polystyrene, thermocol for decoration, all of these are banned. और इवन सैशे, जो प्लास्टिक सैशे आ रहा था ना, सो ऑल दिस चॉकलेट हो गया, गुटखा हो गया, पान मसाला हो गया, ये सब सारा बैंड है, ठीक है, मतलब प्लास्टिक बैंड है. So that is totally banned as per the rules. Yes, थोड़ा सा महंगा होता है, so हर जगह में नहीं मिलता है. Packaging plastic is not banned. Okay, we'll talk about that. So for that implementation, the government has taken various measures. It has established national and state level control rooms. Okay, they have the authority to check the manufacturing, importing, stocking, distribution, जो भी illegal होगा पूरा check कर सकते हैं. And the states can also establish border checkpoints. And there has been separate government apps and portals from where we can report. And it has also given specific directions to the leading petrochemical industries, because वहीं से आता है जो raw material जो यहाँ पर manufacture करने के लिए use करते हैं ना. So all these measures are taken by the government. So अभी जो plastic packaging के लिए है ना, that is not banned, and it is said that it will be covered under EPR. Okay, plastic packaging is not banned and it will be covered under EPR. अभी applicable 16 वाला ही है. So packaging कौन सी इसमें? ये नहीं, दिस इज स्मॉलर वंस. जो स्पेसिफिकली दिया है वो बैंड है. उसके अलावा जो लार्ज स्केल में यूज करते हैं ना, उसके लिए अलग सा रूल्स है. So regarding plastic packaging which is not covered under this, there is a separate rules and that will be covered under EPR. Okay, what is EPR? EPR क्या होता है? Extended Producer Responsibility. So usually the role of producers was that to produce. What is the difference between manufacturer and producer? ठीक है, एनीथिंग एल्स? क्या है वही और कुछ? Who is the brand owner? Manufacturer or producer? Producer. जो एक्चुअल प्रोडक्ट किस नाम पे आता है ना, वो प्रोड्यूसर है. उसका कंपोनेंट कोई दूसरा मैन्युफैक्चर कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल एप्पल आईफोन, उनका कंपोनेंट तो बहुत लोग मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं. दे आर ऑल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स. प्रोड्यूसर्स आर द ओनर्स. ओके, who in whose name they are releasing the product. ठीक है, so the main responsibility lies with the producers. Okay, from producers it will enter the wholesalers, then the retailers, and then from retailers to consumers. So usually यहाँ पर खत्म हो जाते हैं, कंज्यूमर तो बस फेंक देते हैं, है ना. बट जो भी कंज्यूमर के बाद में वापस लेके आने, that is what is EPR. Whatever the products which we are sending in this way, after their usage should be brought back into this the cycle of this product, so that we can extract the maximum raw material from that and again use it or reuse it or recycle it, जो भी जितना भी maximum utilize कर सकते हैं. Because there is a huge amount of energy is required for the extraction of resources, and gradually वो resources खत्म होते so फिर deplete हो जाएगा, फिर cost बढ़ जाएगा, ये सब issue है. And at the same time there is huge amount of pollution also involved, right? ये सब चीजें कम करने के लिए so we brought back this, मतलब वापस लेके आने, and it will be the responsibility for them to recycle it, और अगर recycle नहीं हो सकता है तो properly dispose भी उन्हीं को ही करना है. That is what is extended producer responsibility. The responsibility of the producer will not end at the consumer. Usually वारंटी देते हैं, गारंटी देते हैं, वहां पर खत्म हो जाता है. वहां से खत्म नहीं होने, वापस लेके आने. That is the responsibility. So we have such responsibility in majorly in e-waste. E-waste में है usually. Plastic waste में भी लेके आए हैं. Okay, particularly for plastic packaging. नो नो, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक बैंड है, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक बैंड है, पैकेजिंग के लिए ईपीआर से कवर होगा, एनी अदर प्लास्टिक में नहीं है. इट इज नॉट अबाउट एनी अदर प्लास्टिक. प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग मटेरियल. ओके, प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग मटेरियल, नॉट फॉर द ऑल द प्लास्टिक. उसके लिए तो बहुत टाइम है, इतना इजीली इंप्लीमेंट नहीं होगा वो. सो सी इन वेरियस डिफरेंट बॉक्सेस में यूज करते हैं. सो जो थोड़ा सा मोटा हो, नॉट अ वेरी थिन फिल्म. ओके, सो नॉट अ वेरी थिन फिल्म. अमेजोन में तो ये वाला आता है, पेपर बॉक्स आता है. हाँ, पहले तो था. एंड बबल रैप भी नहीं है, बबल रैप अलग है, बबल रैप अलग है. जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कंपोनेंट्स को रखने के लिए तो पहले यूज करते थे ना. सो दे यूज्ड टू यूज द प्लास्टिक मटेरियल, है ना. सो एंड ये जो थोड़ा सा स्पॉन्ज टाइप भी होता है, थर्मोकोल अलग है, थर्मोकोल से और थोड़ा सा स्पॉन्ज टाइप होता है ना. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस, इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू रिप्लेस दैट, इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू रिप्लेस दैट. वो बैन नहीं कर सकते, तो उसको हमने ईपीआर के अंदर लेके आ गया. ठीक है. So इसके लिए अलग सा रूल्स है which says that so all these people who are involved, including manufacturer, producers, and if there are any importers, even for them also it is applied, and the wholesalers, retailers, सबके लिए, and including that they also bring recyclers. Recyclers भी लेके आते इसके अंदर. सबका clearly defined है. Everyone are obligated to follow the rules mentioned by the government and उसको recycle करना है, and उसके लिए clearly set targets भी दिया है. What are the targets? %70% to be achieved in 2022-2023 and 100% from 2023-2024 onwards. ठीक है. So this is overall EPR target. उसमें recycling का अलग सा target है 50% in 2024-2025, 60% in 25, 70 in 26, 80 in 27. EPR target includes both recycling, disposal, है ना, वो सब आ जाएगा. And recycling अलग है. A part of it, how much should be recycled, that is recycling target. प्लास्टिक वाला उसमें नहीं दिया है शायद, मटेरियल में नहीं है. बहुत डिटेल में नहीं चाहिए, बस ये याद रखो, पैकेजिंग, प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग के लिए अलग है. एंड ऑल दिस पीपल विल कम अंडर एक्सेप्ट कंज्यूमर्स. कंज्यूमर छोड़ो, उनका तो नहीं होगा, बाकी सब लोगों के लिए एप्लीकेबल होगा, इंक्लूडिंग इंपोर्टर्स एंड रिसाइकलर्स. ऑल ऑफ देम कम अंडर द रूल्स एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट डेडलाइंस टू बी अचीव्ड स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2023. ठीक है. So what about e-waste? E-waste is electronic waste. So the last rules was 2016. So there is this timeline how e-waste was handled. So before 1989 there was not much rules for e-waste because there was not much e-waste only. E-waste तो बाद में ही आया ना, 90s के बाद में ही आया था. So between 1989 to 2003 e-waste was handled as a part of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste rules के अंदर था. And in 2008 SPCBs were given separate directions and still there was no separate rules. And in 2011 e-waste management and handling rules were introduced for the first time. And in that itself EPR was introduced. Extended producer responsibility तब भी introduce कर दिया था. See that's because it is very easy to implement EPR in e-waste. ई-वेस्ट में इंप्लीमेंट करना बहुत ईजी है, राइट, क्योंकि उसमें रिसाइक्लेबल पार्ट्स बहुत ज्यादा रहता है, राइट. एंड देयर आर आल्सो स्पेसिफिक ब्रांड्स व्हिच आर सेलिंग, मार्केटिंग करना एंड उसको ट्रैक करना भी बहुत ईजी है. हाँ वही है, मतलब रिसाइकल करके उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करना बहुत ईजी है ना, उससे बहुत ज्यादा फायदा है, तो इसलिए इसमें कंपलसरी कर दिया 2011 में ही. एंड दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड इन यूपीएससी. ओके, सो आई थिंक ये क्वेश्चन मैंने दिखाया था. सो EPR वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, सबसे पहले कौन सी इसमें इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, ऐसे क्वेश्चन आया था. दैट वाज अंडर ई-वेस्ट. एंड इन 2016 दीज रूल्स वर रिवाइज्ड, एंड नाउ अगेन इन 2022 न्यू रूल्स वर रिलीज्ड. 2022 e-waste management rules. These rules was released as a part of the powers given under Environment Protection Act. इसका मतलब वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इसमें ही होता है ना. सो दोस प्लास्टिक आइटम्स विच आर मैन्युफैक्चर्ड विद द इंटेंशन ऑफ यूजिंग फॉर सिंगल पर्पस, उसके ऊपर देर आर सर्टेन सिंबल्स विच आर यूज्ड. ओके, सो प्लास्टिक के ऊपर है ना. जैसे हाँ, उसके लिए अलग से रूल्स है. ओके, सो वो है, वो बाद में देखा. तो चलो ई-वेस्ट खत्म कर लेते हैं. So what are the provisions of these e-waste rules? Yes, I'll tell you. Okay, what are the important provisions of this new e-waste management rules? First, it gives the definition. It defines e-waste. So any e-waste is any electronic or electrical component, whole or part, discarded as waste and rejected either from consumers or from producers or manufacturing. कहीं पे भी हो सकते हैं. Okay, there everyone is involved, manufacturer, producer, refurbisher, dismantler, recycler, सबको involve कर दिया, and उसका roles and responsibility भी clearly दे दिया, and उनका targets भी fix कर दिया. वो नीचे एक box है देखो, manufacturer का responsibility होता है to make those products which are recyclable. End products recyclable होना चाहिए. And second important rule is that whatever the components which they are making, that they should ensure that they are compatible. ये जो Type C का आ रहा है ना, सारे मोबाइल में Type C का आ रहा है. Okay, सारा almost same components use कर सकते हैं. So with the same intention that they can be easily recycled. अगर बहुत specific हो गया तो recycle करना easy नहीं होगा, right? So that is the responsibility of manufacturers. Producer का responsibility है, they will have the maximum responsibility, they will have the overall responsibility of disposing of this, collecting it and recycling this, and the target for 2023 is 60%, 2024 हाँ 23-24 दोनों 60% है, 70% is for 25 and 80% is for 27. ओके, सो सिंपल याद रखो, अभी इस साल से 60% से शुरू करेंगे, ठीक है. एंड दिस इज इफेक्टिव फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2023. Recycler का responsibility होगा to maintain the record of e-waste which is collected, and the state government has the responsibility to provide space for e-waste dismantling and recycling in wherever there are industrial parks, estates and industrial clusters. And it also has the responsibility to undertake industrial skill development, because recycling is not a very easy thing, so we need a specific set of skills to extract the resources, and also most importantly we need a specific safeguard measures to be taken while handling all these, otherwise it causes various health hazards. Okay, so there comes the responsibility of state government too. So there are 4 groups: manufacturers, producers, recycler and the state government. ठीक है, तो इसमें जो प्रीवियस इसमें जो रूल्स था, there was EPR there also, and the responsibility of the extended producer responsibility, ये जो responsibility है ना, that was supposed to be fulfilled by the producers, and to support them the previous rules also provided for the separate organizations which are called as producer responsibility organizations. So what are they? Producer responsibility organization क्या होता है? इनका काम वो लोग करेंगे, जो ब्रांड ओनर्स या कंपनीज होगा ना, प्रोड्यूसर्स होगा ना, उनका काम ये लोग करेंगे. एंड ये लोग ऐसे भी नहीं है कि कोई भी कर सकता है, ओनली द सर्टिफाइड वंस, CPCB से रजिस्टर्ड होना चाहिए, ओनली दे कैन डू, एंड दे विल डू देयर जॉब, एंड दे विल गिव द क्रेडिट्स टू दीज गाइज, उनका क्रेडिट्स मिल जाएगा, ठीक है. विद दैट दे हैव इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सर्टिफिकेट, EPR सर्टिफिकेट. ओके, सो देखो, इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ EPR सर्टिफिकेट टू इंसेंटिफाइड रजिस्टर्ड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट रिसाइकलर्स. जो भी रिसाइकल करने वाले हैं वो रिसाइकल करके उससे जो क्रेडिट आता है ना, उसको सर्टिफिकेट जैसे इन लोगों को बेचेंगे, ठीक है. and to see whether the recycling is done properly or not, CPCB has the power to collect random sampling, and if somebody is not following the rules, they can also be made to pay environmental compensation on the producer in case of non-fulfillment. So what is this? जो previous rules में जो था deposit refund scheme था, वो क्या है? So that was not a rule, it was just an idea introduced in the previous rule. So it was said that जो भी electronic component है, so for example mobile phones, okay, so while selling a mobile phone, the company can charge extra deposit. If the user after using that mobile phone पूरा खराब हो गया, वो खराब हुआ वापस आके दे दिया, तो भी वो deposit हम वापस दे देंगे, ठीक है? So with that intention that the consumer will bring it back and deposit here, ठीक है? It's a kind of incentive for the consumer to come back and give it back. So that was introduced, वो introduce ही था, common rule नहीं बनाया था. And ये जो PR वो producer responsibility organization was also something which was introduced in the last rules. ठीक है? So presently India is the third largest electronic waste producer, and still we recycle only 1.5% of electronic waste generated. So which is very very less, बहुत बहुत कम है. And electronic waste is something which is going to increase in the coming days. Decrease तो नहीं होने वाले. Electronic components का प्राइस गिरते जा रहे हैं, and जितना टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांसमेंट होगा तो उतना लोग और ज़्यादा खरीदना चाहते हैं, बहुत जल्दी खरीदना चाहते हैं, है ना? तो हर साल आईफोन नया आ ही रहे. चलो ये ख़त्म कर लेते हैं. Yes, all these. Yes. So all such kind of informal activities will cause more damage than the benefit, है ना? तो पहले तो उन खुद के लिए भी hazardous है. So it releases various different chemicals which has to be handled with proper care. So it is hazardous for them. Second, they are also polluting the river and the surrounding environment, right? So that is why it has to be done in an institutional manner. No, batteries will not come. वहाँ पर एक कॉलम में दिया है ना, जो इसमें नहीं आते. कौन कौन सा नहीं आते? बैटरीज, है ना? बैटरीज के लिए अलग सा रूल्स लेके आ गया. पैकेजिंग प्लास्टिक तो हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस के अंदर जो ई वेस्ट आता है, सो दैट इज MSME डेवलपमेंट एक्ट. एंड रेडियो एक्टिव वेस्ट, ऑफ कोर्स रेडियो एक्टिव वेस्ट के लिए सेपरेट रूल्स नहीं है, इट इज अंडर द एक्ट ओनली. बैटरीज ई वेस्ट, बट रूल्स के हिसाब से उसको अलग सा हैंडल करना है बस, है ना? उसको डिस्पोज भी नहीं कर सकते हो. बैटरी शुड नॉट बी डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ इन द सॉलिड वेस्ट. वही बात है. See, all these electronic components we cannot dispose. The only thing which we have to do it, go into any of these electronic stores, brand stores, and there you can deposit. They will not be giving any money, but at least that is the way of disposing, safe disposal. हाँ, ये सब तो पुराना प्रोडक्ट्स तो अभी ट्रैक करना मुश्किल है. ये जो भी होगा वो नया प्रोडक्ट्स जो भी आएगा उसी में ही इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं, है ना? पुराना प्रोडक्ट्स तो ट्रैक करना बहुत मुश्किल है ना. सो दे वुड नॉट मेंटेन इन डेटाबेस, दे वुड नॉट मेंटेन किसके पास. हाँ, डिस्पोजल करने, रिसाइकिल करने के लिए देयर आर सर्टेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, RPO हो गया, है ना? दे हैव टू कम एंड कलेक्ट इट, दे हैव टू सी, दे हैव टू मेंटेन अ प्रॉपर डेटाबेस, एंड दे हैव टू ensure that these product is in continuous use. Okay. ये अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए कि उनको मतलब ऐसे ही डिस्पोज नहीं करने, सो एटलीस्ट गिव इट टू दीज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हु आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन रिसाइकलिंग. ये अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए. चलो दो और छोटा सा ही कवर कर लेते हैं, सो हो गया, पोल्यूशन रिलेटेड हो गया। स्टॉकहोम कन्वेंशन सबको पता है, व्हाट इज स्टॉकहोम कन्वेंशन बताइए। persistent organic pollutant, okay, POP के लिए we have a separate convention, that is Stockholm Convention. It is legally binding. There are 186 parties. India is a party to it, and this is basically talking about POP, persistent organic pollutant, जो अभी बात किया था ना, so जो बायोमैग्नीफाई होगा, बायोअक्यूमुलेट होके बायोमैग्नीफाई होता है. So for to deal with all such POPs, we have a convention, Stockholm Convention. This is part of the 3 major conventions to deal with waste. What are the 3 major conventions? Basel. It is called as BRS convention. Okay, in the same order. Basel पहले आया था, then Rotterdam, and then finally Stockholm. ठीक है? So as per this, there are 3 annexes in this convention. Annex A, Annex B, Annex C. Annex A में जो listed होगा POP वो पूरा eliminate करना है. They should be completely eliminated. Annex B, the production should be restricted. Okay, बहुत ज़्यादा produce नहीं करना है, in a restricted manner it can be produced. Annex C is unintentional production, जो unorganized sector में होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस हो जाएगा, ऐसे वाला रिड्यूस करना है, दैट इज व्हाट इज Annex C. सबसे ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट होगा Annex A. इसमें बहुत सारा लिस्टेड है एंड बहुत सारा ऑलरेडी मतलब इलीगल भी हो गया है, मतलब एज पर द स्टॉकहोम इट शुड बी स्टॉप्ड, बट बहुत जगह में ये अभी भी प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया, ओके, सो एंडोसल्फान का एग्जांपल दिया था. DDT ऑल्सो, DDT इज ऑल्सो वाइडली यूज, DDT इज इंक्लूडेड इन दिस POP फॉर ए लॉन्ग पीरियड, बहुत पहले से इंक्लूड हो गया. Yes, and even Endrin also. Okay, first in POP they listed a total of 12 POPs. Okay, सबसे पहले 12 POPs लिस्ट किए थे, बोला कि इसको हटाना है, so they were called as dirty dozens. कि dirty dozen बोल के लिस्ट किया था, उसके बाद में वो लिस्ट बढ़ते गया है, but overall बहुत जगह में implement नहीं हुआ है अभी भी. So that is what is Stockholm. So recently there is this committee of this Stockholm which is called as the committee to review these pollutants, persistent organic pollutants review committee, POPRC. So they held a meeting and there they included 2, total 5 chemicals का बात हुए, उनमें से first 2 important है क्योंकि वो include हो गया है. So Dechlorane plus and UV 328, these 2 have been recommended to be included in POP. POP में include करने के लिए recommend हो गया है. बाकी 3 का अभी के लिए पोस्टपोन हो गया, मतलब द डिसीजन इज नॉट मेड येट. No, POPs are not water soluble, they're fat soluble, that's why it accumulates in the fat tissues. Not everything will evaporate. Okay, basically these are the chemicals which will not degrade very easily. That is what is POPs. Yes, Annex A. Yes. Dechlorane plus and UV 328. One is a flame retardant, second one is a stabilizer. So Rotterdam Convention भी है, इसका भी कुछ मीटिंग हुआ था, तो वो लोग भी कुछ इंक्लूड किया है, इसलिए न्यूज़ में है. So what is this Rotterdam Convention? Hazardous pesticides and chemicals. See, remember Rotterdam Convention will not ban the movement or production of these hazardous chemicals and pesticides. Ban तो नहीं करेंगे, allow करेंगे with PIC. Okay, what is PIC? Prior informed consent. Prior informed consent. So basically जो भी कंट्री बेच रहे दूसरी जगह से एक कंट्री से दूसरी कंट्री आएगा, so from one country to another country these movement, these chemicals and pesticides are continuously moving and they're capable of causing hazardous effect on the human health as well as the surrounding environment. During this movement the convention aims to ensure that, so it just there is a informed consent. The people who are importing this know about the side effects of this, know about the hazardous effects of this, and they take a proper care while handling and while using. So for that we have Rotterdam Convention. Okay, the most important part here is PIC, prior informed consent. It is a formally obtaining and disseminating the decisions of importing parties on their willingness to receive future shipment of hazardous chemicals. यस यस, इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड ऑफ कोर्स. कौन सी ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट हुआ था? कौन सा? इज इट रिलेटेड टू केमिकल्स? ओके, नॉट श्योर. तो तब तो नहीं आएगा. इट इज अबाउट द इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड. व्हेन वन कंट्री इज सेंडिंग टू अनदर कंट्री, सो ड्यूरिंग दैट it has to take the prior consent, it has to give the information related to it, पूरा उनको बताना है, these are the hazardous effects, how to handle this, how to use this, ये सब बताना है, then they take a consent, then you can send it, so that there is a proper information exchange. So in this, so Rotterdam में again यहाँ पर भी दो include हुआ है recently, one is Iprodion and Turbifos. Iprodion is a fungicide and Turbifos is a soil insecticide. इंडिया में बहुत यूज होता है. सो इनफैक्ट गवर्नमेंट कमिटी अलो कर दिया है. देयर इज दिस अनुपम वर्मा कमिटी अपॉइंटेड इन 2015 दैट हैज परमिटेड टू यूज दिस, एंड इंडिया इज द लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्टर ऑफ टर्बीफोस. सो रिपोर्ट्स एंड इंडाइसेस. सो फर्स्ट रिपोर्ट का नाम याद रखो, स्टेट ऑफ द ग्लोबल वाटर रिसोर्सेस. सो दैट इज रिलीज्ड बाय होम? WMO. ओके, वाटर रिसोर्स है तो ओवरऑल असेसमेंट तो वही लोग कर सकते हैं. हाउएवर द वर्ल्ड वाटर डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट इज रिलीज्ड बाय यूनेस्को. ओके, ग्लोबल लैंड आउटलुक तो मैंने बता दिया ऑलरेडी, दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ UNCCD. ठीक है, सो लेट्स टेक ए ब्रेक and we'll start with the fourth unit, sustainable development वाला शुरू करते हैं. The fourth unit, sustainable development. So this is the last major part. उसके बाद में whatever the topics which are after this, that is one is geography and another one is disaster management. And so geography related there are a few more things, the location based aspects. Okay, so the places in news, all of this will cover in the last class. Okay, so even now we'll be covering the some part of it. Okay, so rest of it will finish in the next class. Fine. Species also, species and national parks too. So try to bring atlas in the next class. Okay, so and also some empty maps. Okay, full page maps, 2-3 India maps. Okay, just the outline. Preferably with state borders. Okay, so if you have the state borders, you can remember the states. You don't have to know the border, of course. So, but if you mark it over there, so suppose if you are marking some of the important national parks which are in news, okay, so try to bring a A4 stage, or so is it given in the material within with map? Is it given? The national parks. Go to unit 3, third unit. The national parks. The national parks in news. Third unit, not the fourth unit. In biodiversity. It's not just the list of national parks in news. Okay. What we will do? You try to bring a full-sized India map. Yeah, there is a map, no? Protected areas in news. It's there. We can use this. This is easier. Page number 64. So you can use the same thing, or you can take a larger print of this. Okay, that is the easier way to remember. Okay, you have all the maps at one place, right? Fine. So if you want to mark it separately, so bring a empty map. So there you just mark it, or you can just use this. But bring atlas. Okay, so atlas is going to be useful. So not only for this, in fact, for the entire prelims preparation, I would suggest you to carry an atlas, single atlas. Okay, so from where you can just mark and revise multiple times. That is easier way of doing it. Okay, so let's start with the first point. First topic: Sustainable Development Report (SDR) 2022. So here there is an organization news. So let's know about this. Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Sustainable Development Solution Network. So it's basically a network made up of nearly 1,700 members. Okay, there are a total of 1,700 members. Matlab, it is open to all, the governments, the private, the public, the NGOs, all of them can be a member of this. And it was launched in the year 2012. The major objective is to mobilize the global scientific expertise for practical problem solving in order to implement sustainable development goals. So SDG was launched. When was it launched? 2015. फिर how did they launch in 2012? बात तो पहले चल रहा था. And most importantly, it was during the 2012 Rio Plus 20 summit. That is where the idea of sustainable development goals and the overall the intention of replacing, bringing it after the MDG came to an end, वो तभी बात हो गया था. So that is when they also established this network, Sustainable Development Solution Network. It's basically an idea where they are bringing all the collaborations at the international level to solve the problems and which helps in implementation of sustainable development goals. So basically, itna yaad rakho, it aims to implement the sustainable development goals. Okay, by bringing everyone, so all the governments, private, non-profit organizations, everyone together. So this comes out with a report called as SDR report, Sustainable Development Report. Sustainable Development Report. So what is this report? So basically it's a report card of all the countries. Okay, Sustainable Development Goals are the 17 goals to be achieved between 2015 to 2030. 15 साल का goal दिया है. Okay, that was after the MDG, Millennium Development Goals, which was between 2000 to 2015. Okay, Millennium Development Goals were launched in Millennium Summit, which was held in the year 2000. Okay. So, बताइए, what are the difference between MDGs and SDGs? Number of goals are more. There were 8. Okay, here there were 17. ठीक है. Anything else? ठीक है. Anything else? Yes, the targets given in SDG are much broader. The targets given under MDG, they were much narrow. They targeted only 8 areas. Okay, so SDGs are much broader. They are much more bigger targets. And most important, MDGs were only for developing and less developed countries. SDGs for all the countries, including developed countries. And another major difference is they did not talk about the environmental degradation, climate change, so land degradation. All of these were never discussed. The blue economy, all of this, the environment part is also discussed in SDG. So to assess the overall performance of different countries who are supposed to have achieved these SDGs, okay, we have to achieve this SDGs by 2030. To assess the overall performance, they have a report, but simple. So it will rank the countries. India's ranking in the last consecutive years has been decreasing. Okay, so in 2020 the ranking was 117. In 2021 we came to 120, and right now we are at 121. मतलब रैंक तो बढ़ते जा रहा है ना. So it is going in the opposite direction basically. ठीक है. And another important outcome of this report is that for consecutively second year in a row, the world is not making any progress towards SDGs. So that is because of all the pandemic, COVID, all of these issues. So all the efforts were stopped during this entire period. So during that year and the next year, 2021, 2022, both the years, we saw that there was not much achievements at all. That is what is basically SDG. And this is the performance report which is given. So can somebody show me what is given in the material? कोई भी material दीजिए. Yes, so it should be corrected. So there's some print issue in this, and all the goals were just repeated in the subsequent rows. Okay, सारा subsequent rows में same ही repeat हो गया. ठीक है, so please update this. So here out of 17 goals, what exactly we have to remember? So it is India's performance card. So here we have to remember about 2 goals which India is making progress, and as per this progress, this rate, it is sufficient to achieve the goals. इस rate में गया तो भी हम achieve कर लेंगे. What are the 2 goals? So 13 is not no poverty. 13 is climate action. Okay, it is climate action. What is 12? Responsible consumption. Okay, waste management related. Yes. So in these two, 12 and 13, we are making a progress, and at this rate we will be able to achieve the target by 2030. Okay, 12 and 13 is two goals where we are going in right track. No, it is not achieved yet. 2030 तक है ना, तो ये तो अचीव नहीं है. Okay, so arrow mark, upper arrow mark is on track. Okay, this is on track. Upper arrow mark is on track. Fine. So these two are on track, and there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 goals are like moderately improving. Okay, what are they? First one, SDG 1, no poverty. SDG 1, no poverty. And SDG 3, good health and well-being, and clean water and sanitation. Okay, so there we are implementing Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, all of this. So all of these are there. And SDG 7 is basically affordable and clean energy. Affordable and clean energy. So this is also improving, but not sufficient. SDG 8 is also improving. This is about economic growth. And SDG 9 is also improving, but not sufficient. This is industry and infrastructure. Okay, total of 6 are improving, but we need to work more on this. So rest are totally stagnant, yeah, decreasing, or no improvement at all, or information available. Okay, that is about this report. Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach Pilot Project, SCIAP. Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach Pilot Project. This is a project which is implemented by UN Habitat. So what is this UN Habitat? So UN Agency for the Habitat Settlements, you know, so जो भी human areas of living. So in that context, it aims to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities. Fine. So that is what is UN Habitat. UN Habitat is actually implementing a pilot project in India called as SCIAP, Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach. Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach Pilot Project. So along with that, along with UN Habitat, UNIDO and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And who is funding this project? Global Environment Facility. What is this project exactly? Basically sustainable cities. What is a sustainable city? Whatever the amount of resources available, that is used in such a manner that it will fulfill the needs of that city. And we are not producing any waste, or even if we are producing waste, we are able to recycle it, properly managing all the waste. Okay, so and fulfilling all the needs of the city. That is what is sustainable city basically. So in that context, they use a term called as Blue Green Connect. Sunay? Blue Green Connect. It is important to have this Blue Green Connect if you want to achieve sustainability in cities. Blue refer to the water bodies, green refer to the vegetation. Okay, so both are connected. Is that right? You want to conserve the groundwater, you need to have enough vegetation for percolation and storage of the water, right? And to have proper vegetation, of course, we need to support them with the water availability. Both are connected. Where there is this proper blue-green connect, so there is sustainable management of all the resources, and the overall issues will be less. Droughts will be less, floods will be less, soil erosion will be less. Okay, ये सब चीजें कम होगा. Okay, so so they want to implement this and develop the cities in a sustainable manner. And for that they have selected 5 cities on pilot basis. What are the 5 cities? Jaipur, Mysore, Jaipur in Rajasthan, Mysore in Karnataka, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, Guntur in Andhra Pradesh, Andhra का तो 2 आ गया, and then Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. जयपुर में इनका काम चल रहे. They recently also said जयपुर में बहुत सारा issue है. There is totally blue green disconnect over there. So they are working with the local municipal body to bring it back. मतलब थोड़ा अच्छा वापस लेके आने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे हैं. So उसके नीचे एक छोटा सा टेबल है. So it's basically providing the connectivity between the water bodies and the natural vegetation to ensure that both are existing in such a manner that it is helpful for the overall utilization of the urban region and the overall resource extraction and resource management of the urban region. Blue refers to the water, green refers to vegetation. Yes, blue green connect, they use this term. It's a concept. Basically, any sustainable city should ensure there is a blue-green connect over there. The water bodies and the natural vegetation cover in that city should be sufficient. So, blue-green connect is a concept, the idea. उसके नीचे एक टेबल में दिया है. So, come to the second part. Griha rating सुना है? So, what is this Griha rating? Green rating for integrated habitat assessment. Green rating for integrated habitat assessment. So it is developed by TERI, the Energy Resource Research Institute. Okay, it was developed by TERI and it was adopted as the national rating system for green building in the year 2007. So what exactly does it do? It has a fixed set of parameters and it will assess any of the buildings using these parameters, and it will see whether the buildings are done, designed and maintained using these parameters. Okay, what are the parameters? Green building के लिए enough sunlight, enough air circulation, so that there is जितना naturally हो जाए वो हो जाए, and कम energy consumption होना चाहिए. Overall energy should be consumed in less manner. So the overall energy sustainability कितना हो रहा है उस बिल्डिंग में वो देख के रेटिंग देंगे. Okay, that is what is Griha ratings. So next, India's first sovereign green bonds framework. So what is a bond? Bond क्या होता है? Debt instrument, है ना? So whoever is issuing bond, he will collect money from the person who is buying this bond, right? And he'll give some fixed return. Once the bond's term is ended, he will return back the money. That is what is bond. Bond instrument होता है ना. The returns थोड़ा सा लो रहता है बट फिक्स रहता है. मार्केट से थोड़ा कम रहेगा बट फिक्स रहेगा. सबसे ज़्यादा तो गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स ही ज़्यादा डिमांड में रहता है ना. गवर्नमेंट का गारंटी है, इशू वापस तो पैसा देगा. प्राइवेट बॉन्ड्स का थोड़ा बहुत वॉलेटिलिटी रहता है और पैसा वापस देंगे या नहीं देंगे. दैट इज बेसिकली बॉन्ड. यू माइट हैव स्टडीड अबाउट दिस. व्हाट इज अ ग्रीन बॉन्ड? What is a green bond? Yes, the money raised using the bonds is used for green projects. Okay, suppose let's say there is a solar power plant. Okay, so very big solar park they are establishing. The money which they require, they will raise it through issuing bonds. That bonds becomes green bonds. Okay, so what is a sovereign green bonds? Issued by the government. Yeah, that is issued by the government is sovereign green bonds. इंडिया में इशू हुआ है sovereign green bonds तो पहली बार है. Green bonds इशू हुआ है. Yes Bank has issued in 2015. That was the first green bonds. उसके बाद में तो बहुत सारा आया है. In the last year budget, the government announced that they will be raising the money for this green projects, renewable projects in India by issuing bonds. Okay, government will be raising the funding through issuing bonds that became the sovereign green bonds. To raise this money, the government has recently released a framework. That is what is sovereign green bond framework. So there are certain rules. Okay, rules क्या है? So it clearly defines what is a green project based on the principles like it should encourage energy efficiency, it should reduce carbon and greenhouse gas emissions. And it also defines some of the eligible projects to be included: renewable energy, clean transportation, water and waste management, green building, etc. These are the included ones. Excluded कौन सा है? Nuclear power generation. This can be a question. As per the latest green bond framework issued by the government, which of the following activities are included or excluded? Excluded कौन सा है? Nuclear power generation, landfill projects, direct waste incineration, hydropower plants larger than 25 megawatts. Why they are excluded? Why they are not considered as green? There are many side effects of this, right? Nuclear power generation से nuclear waste generate होता है, so that is not completely green. Landfill project, it is a very unscientific method of disposal of waste. Landfill से तो बहुत ज़्यादा pollution होता है, ठीक है? Direct waste incineration, that is direct burning, बहुत ज़्यादा pollution निकलता है, right? Hydropower plants larger than 25 megawatts, it causes large scale submergence of land area, submergence of forest area, disruption of the entire environment. All these issues are there. That's why they're all exempted. That is all about green bonds. Okay, so there's not much other than that. So what is a blue bond? Related to water, water related activity. Examples: resource extraction along the continental shelf, fisheries, right? So we are talking only about blue. Blue means water related. It is not necessary. We don't have to bring again whether it is sustainable, whether it is non-polluting. That becomes blue green bond then. All the activities related to the water related activity. For that, if they are raising money, that becomes blue bond. Sustainable होना चाहिए, ठीक है? That is what is blue. ठीक है? So green permit. चलो, this is important since it is in news. So I'll give you some background here. Environment impact assessment. What do you mean by environment impact assessment? Okay, and to foresee whether the project will have any bad impact on the environment. And oh no, We cannot reject all the projects. Then all the developmental project will be rejected because every project will have some impact. The idea is not to reject the project, to reduce the impacts as much as possible. Okay, because every project will have some benefits. Okay, there are certain benefits associated with the project. We will also see what are the issues, what are the effects of this project. Every project will have some other issue. We will weigh both. If the benefits are more and the impacts are less, then we will see how to reduce this impact to the least possible manner, and then we will allow the project. If the impacts are more and the benefits are less, we will totally reject it. Okay? Even if we are giving the permission, we will properly set up some conditions. With some condition, prescribed condition, they have to follow this. They have to implement the mitigation measures to reduce the impact. That overall assessment is environmental impact assessment. Okay? So when was for the first time we introduced such kind of rules in India? Not in 2006. It was in 1976. It was in 1976 for the first time when the Planning Commission asked the Department of Science and Technology to review the River Valley projects. So before that, there was not much issue of this environmental impact degradation. There was not much discussion was happening. And after the independence, we implemented large scale hydropower projects, multipurpose dams, and gradually we started to realize that there are many negative impacts associated with that. So after 20-25 years, we started to realize, so that is when the Planning Commission said any new hydropower projects or multipurpose projects are being implemented, we have to see those projects from the environmental angle too. Then we have to take a call. Okay, that is a very primitive form of environmental clearance. The idea of clearance was developed, and that objective, that responsibility was given to Department of Science and Technology. Why? There was no ministry, there was no department also. Environment related, there was no ministry or department. So gradually this was changed to a form of environment clearance. The same process has been given in the form of environment clearance until 1992. Till 1992 it was just an administrative decision. There was no clear-cut rules for this. The government will just see, assess, and it will decide, okay, so there are not much environmental issues, you can go ahead. It was in 1992 for the first time government brought a notification, okay, saying that EIA is compulsory. The first notification came in 1992. उसके पहले 1976 में इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ था. It was done as a ad hoc decision, administrative decision. In 1992, a proper process was established, and that was based on the powers of Environment Protection Act of 1986. Even now, EIA is implemented as a rule only. It is not law. It is not law. It is just a rule. What is the difference between rule and law? The rule is made by the government, law is made by the parliament. Right? 1992 notification was there, and that was again changed in the year 2006. So right now what we have is 2006 notification. Okay, so in the year 2020 government tried to bring a new notification, but that was widely criticized. That's why it is still put on hold. Okay, new draft was released, but that was put on hold. So right now what we are following is 2006 notification, the rules as per 2006 notification. So this is the entire process of EIA. And remember, there is no clear-cut steps, standardized steps. You just search EIA, Google search करो, बहुत सारा ऐसे flowcharts मिलता है. All of it has its own number of steps. Some of them prescribe 5, some of them prescribe 10, some of them prescribe 15. Overall, there are certain basic steps which you have to remember. Okay? First, everything starts with the project proposal, where the project developer will give a proposal. Once you give a proposal, first the screening happens. Okay? What is screening? To decide whether the project requires EIA or not, because not every project is environmentally polluting. That is what is screening. If the project requires screening, then only it will go through. Otherwise, बाद में करके बाद में पता चला इसमें तो कोई impact है ही नहीं है, तो फालतू में time waste हो गया ना. So first is screening, then scoping. Okay. proposal, screening, and then scoping. Scoping is listing of all the terms which they want to see. That is what is scoping. So once the scoping is done, major step is impact assessment. Okay, scoping, they will list the reference terms which they have to see on the ground. Assessment is going on the ground and doing the assessment. Okay, assessment ho gaya. And then reporting. Based on the overall assessment, who will do the assessment? There is a separate impact assessment agency. Agency will do the assessment. Okay, once the assessment is done, it will make a proper report and it will submit to the decision making authority. That is what is reporting. The decision making authority will take the decision, but before that there should be public hearing. Public hearing is all the people who are involved in this, who are getting impacted by the project, who are going to lose land, who are going to get impacted by environment. So they will be called, they will be asked for suggestions. That is what is public hearing. Then after that the decision will be made. Okay, decision will be made, decision making. And if the decision is yes, then there is post monitoring also. There is post monitoring also. That is very important. Okay, when the decision is made, there would be certain conditions prescribed, because the assessment agency would have made a proper planning. Okay, they would have done an environmental mitigation plan. If the project is to be given permission, they have to do so and so. They have to do afforestation, they have to take care of the local water bodies, all of this, they would have prescribed some mitigation measures. So that should be monitored after the project has started. Okay, so that is what is, that permission is what is called as the green permit, which is also called as EC. What is EC? Environmental clearance. No. So decision making is EC, but EC ke saath mein there would be certain conditions, and that conditions whether implementing is or not, that is what is post monitoring. Okay. Decision making. Permit is you are given the permission to start the project. That is what is permit. Before the decision making. Yes, that is compulsory. Yes. Reporting will be done by this assessment agency. The report will be given to both the public. There will be a public domain, there they will put, and they will also be submitted to the government. So they will be given a time period of 30 days. In 30 days, they have the public, whoever the stakeholders are there, they will see and they will come back and they will discuss and they will give suggestions. And then the decision will be made. That decision is called as the permit or EC, environment clearance. So it is independent agency but appointed by the government, not just any other agency. Appraisal committee is the committee to look into that decision, because every time the government, the ministry cannot take. So the decision has been given to the appraisal committee at the national level as well as the state level. No, agency is different. Yes, agency is different, appraisal committee is different. Private sector means? Yes. All the projects, whether it is, you're talking about the project developer. The project developer can be anyone, whether it is a government, private, anyone. Because even their project is going to impact the surrounding region, right? That is what is this rule. All this scale, everything is decided in the rules. 2006 it has been given. Okay, there are two categories of projects for which EIA is done. One is category A, category is category B. Category A are the large scale projects which require the assessment and appraisal, that is permission should be given at the national level. Category B is state level. Category A is national level, category B is state level. You can see at the national level we have the expert appraisal committee. Okay, at the state level we have state expert appraisal committee. Right? So there are listed projects Categories of projects, only for those projects it is applicable. Fine. So in category B there are two categories, category B1, category B2. B1 requires compulsory EIA. B2 there is no compulsory EIA. They will go through the proposal and they will see and they will give the approval based on the proposal itself. There is no requirement of detailed assessment. Fine. Now, why it is in news? Recently, some of the things related to these 2006 rules were amended. One of the important amendment is the tenure of this EC. Because once the EC is given, there will be a fixed timeline before which you have to complete the project. For how long this EC is issued, what is the duration for which this EC is issued? So that has been recently extended. ये बहुत सारा projects तो ऐसे ही करते करते time बढ़ता जाएगा ना, so that's why they have extended. So for river valley projects 13 years. For nuclear projects 15 years. For mining 30 years. Mining related 30 years. EC lease is usually granted for 50 years. EC is 30 years. So any others? 10 years. Okay, river valley is 13, nuclear is 15, mining is 30, and any others 10 years. But the question is, if the public hearing, if they are not agreement with the government decision, will the decision making authority take the decision or not? The idea of EIA itself is to avoid such things. If the government really wants to do this, it can do it even without EIA. Right? Because the government has the power to acquire the land. To reduce all such things, they will develop some broader consensus, they will have some debate discussion, and in spite of that, if there are local protest and if the government thinks this is unnecessary, we have to do it, they can do it. It is not compulsory. Fine. So in addition to that, there are few more recent changes made. Okay, biomass based power plants which use auxiliary fuel such as coal, lignite, petroleum products up to 15% has been given the exemption. And if there is any project related to expansion of terminal buildings, even they have been given exemption. Terminal buildings at airports. Green? Green not, green clearance. Easy. And if there is any the projects which are related to national defense or strategic or security importance, even they were given exemption. And the highway project related to defense and strategic purpose within 100 kilometers of LOC or border, they are also exempted. Yes. Yeah, these are exempted. इसके लिए ये जरूरी नहीं है. वो जो एक छोटा सा बॉक्स में दिया है ना, these are the recent amendments which the government has added in 2006 rules. पहले नहीं था, अभी इसको भी exempt कर दिया है. 2020 amendment, they wanted to bring entirely different rules itself. That entire rules they did not bring. They amended some parts of 2006 rules only and they added this. Okay, this is amendment to 2006 rules. Okay. What are cloud forests? बस ये कर लो, ये खत्म कर लेते हैं। ये बहुत सिंपल है, बता देता हूँ उससे। क्लाउड फॉरेस्ट, व्हाट आर क्लाउड फॉरेस्ट? मतलब वहां पर कैसे होते हैं क्लाउड्स में, फॉरेस्ट कैसे होगा? यस, दीज आर द फॉरेस्ट इन हाई एलिवेशन which are usually found above 1500 meters up to 3000 meters. And what about beyond 3000 meters? There are no forests beyond 3000. Okay, they are totally barren or ice covered regions. So that is why between 1500 to 3000, whatever the type of forest, they are called as the cloud forest. Why they are called as cloud forest? They are usually under fog, mist, clouds. Okay, that is why they are called as cloud forest. Okay, the overall vegetation is not that great, short trees or grass or shrubs, ferns. Okay, and the overall temperature is usually cooler than the normal. And they are usually covered with dense ground level clouds. Fine. So these are the areas of forest cover with more than 10% of canopy and fog presence of more than 70% of all the time. Huh? Taiga nahi. Taiga is coniferous. Coniferous of higher latitudes. Taiga is part of this. Taiga is part of this only. Yes, this is the overall area, whatever the type of vegetation which comes under this, taiga and alpine both. Taiga and alpine both. Okay? So that is what is cloud forest. So recently there is a initiative in news, Cloud Forest 25 initiative, CF25. What is this CF25 initiative? So it is an initiative to raise more investment to save the cloud forest. Cloud forest को बचाने के लिए they wanted more investment, money, finance. So that is what is CF25 initiative. The overall global variation in climatic conditions, okay, so or even the soil erosion, deforestation. So for that purpose they even want to issue cloud forest bonds. Okay, same, the bonds raised for money to protect the cloud forest is cloud forest bond. And it is said that this is NBS. What is NBS? Nature based solution. Nature based solution क्या होता है? To solve any of the social related problems, we are using natural resource or natural models. Bioremediation is a nature based solution. Okay, not necessarily that is the only. Nature based solution is any kind of solution which we are bringing to solve any of the problems using the natural system. The naturally existing system को हम replicate करके या उस model को use करके problem solve करना चाहते हैं. That is what is nature based solution. Not Ayurvedic. Let me tell you. So to reduce coastal erosion, to bring mangrove. To reduce coastal erosion, to implant a mangrove plantation. Wherever there is mangrove plantation, usually we don't observe coastal erosion. Soil erosion कम कर देता है. There is an entire overall stabilization of the coastal region. तो जहाँ पर ज़्यादा coastal erosion है वहाँ पर खुद लगा दो mangrove plantation. That is what is nature based solution. Right? These are the actions to protect, sustainably manage and restore the natural ecosystem. They address the societal challenges such as climate change, human health, food, water security and disaster risk reduction. Right? And they use this nature based models. Okay, ecosystem based approach भी बोल सकते हैं. It is helpful in easier adaptation, easier mitigation, bringing resilience, particularly in the context of global warming and climate change. So whatever the solutions which we are bringing, that should be like, for example, to reduce the greenhouse gas emission, forestation. Afforestation करो, ज़्यादा carbon sequestration होगा. That is a nature based solution. So using the natural system as a solution to solve the problems which are existing. That is what is nature based solution. and that is very, very useful, particularly tackling climate change. Whether you want to store the carbon or to protect yourself from the disasters, or to better adapt. Okay, so maybe for example agriculture, to how to bring resilience in agriculture, bring indigenous variety of seeds. जितना भी पुराना जमाने का जो भी था वो सारा लेके आओ, उसमें तो कुछ तो मिलेगा. रेजिस्टेंट वेराइटीज, ड्रॉट रेजिस्टेंट वेराइटीज, most of them are drought resistant varieties, right? That is what is nature based solution. Which one? Where is it? Which page number? Why? From the water users, okay, as a fee or fees charged for water usage, water payment. Okay, so we have covered why carbon sequestration through forestation by national efforts. Forest carbon is carbon sequestration, the carbon which is stored in the forest. Okay, so we have covered till page number 93. But the thing is, बीच में थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा है. ओके, जो दो पार्ट हमने स्किप किया है, नेशनल पार्क्स एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ, that will take some time. So next class will be for sure last class, मतलब for this part. Okay, it will not be able to extend beyond that. So थोड़ा बहुत आधा घंटा extend होगा, be prepared. ठीक है, so please bring atlas and some maps if you want to mark on this. So we'll cover the rest in the next class. Thank you.